Hello, Amanda.
Hi.
Good morning, afternoon, evening.
It's all the things.
And in case I don't see you, good evening and good night. How does it go? Truman. Guys, welcome. This is our show, What Women Binge. We're back here with my mama, Paula Hart.
Called the number and they said, you got it.
It would always be when we were quitting that I would get a job. Let's tell everybody about Sabrina. I just want to thank you all for showing up today, to listen to us, to watch us if you're watching on YouTube. And, you know, it's so helpful for us when you guys are listening. That is the number one thing. You guys are just like making this happen because you're listening. But we'd also love it if you would subscribe and maybe
Please.
Rate and review. If you rate and review, it would be awesome because we want to know what we're doing right, what we're doing wrong.
We're doing everything right.
Well, I know I am. I don't know about you, Amanda.
Oh, yeah? What do you got to say there, old friend?
No, but this has been so much fun, and I'm so excited for today. Are you
Today,
excited?
I think I'm most excited for our guest today. Like
Really?
the most excited we've been so far.
So it's a very special guest, you guys, because the only reason I'm alive today is because of this woman, and the only reason I have a career today is because of this woman. And she she's going to share with us like the origin stories of Little Melissa's career, Paula's career, of Sabrina, of Melissa and Joey, all the shows she created and spawned and franchised, and all the different projects we've created and worked on together, and our massive Hart family.
Your massive family.
Massive family. My mom was born and raised in New York. Her dad was a plumber. Her mom had a lot of different jobs. My grandma Joan, who's what my middle name, everyone that knows Melissa Joan, is from my grandma Joan, and my mom is Paula Joan. And she just, hippie child, had me a week before she turned 20. And yeah, should we bring her in?
I think we should. I'm so excited. I have so many questions.
I know. Well, I don't have that many questions because I kind of know her pretty well. So every month is a struggle, right? To just eat better and eat healthier. And I don't care if it's New Year's or it's the middle of June or no, it doesn't change. And I'm always trying to eat better. But healthy breakfast doesn't have to be boring because Magic Spoon.
That's right. Breakfast, lunch, dinner, it fits in all day long and it's delicious.
They have amazing flavors that you will love without all the bad stuff, right?
That's right.
0 grams of sugar. There's lots of protein in there. There's only 4 net grams of carbs in each serving.
And only 140 calories per serving.
It's keto-friendly, gluten-free, grain-free, soy-free, and low-carb. Lots of great things there, guys.
The variety pack comes with 4 different flavors: cocoa, fruity, frosted, and peanut butter, so you can try them all.
What's your latest mix-up? I know we always talk about mixing these up. Which way have you gone?
Well, my classic is the chocolate and peanut butter together.
Yes.
However, frosted and chocolate is like a milkshake.
Okay.
In a bowl.
Yeah. That's like a Neapolitan or something, right?
It's so good.
What if you put frosted with peanut butter? What do you think, like a vanilla peanut butter? I think I'm going to try that next.
That would be really good.
So you guys can try it too. Go to magicspoon.com/WWB to grab a variety pack and try it today. And be sure to use our promo code WWB at checkout to save $5 off your first order.
And Magic Spoon is so confident in their product that it's backed with a 100% happiness guarantee, which you will be. But if you don't like it for any reason, they'll refund your money.
So remember, get your next delicious bowl of guilt-free cereal at magicspoon.com/WWB and use the code WWB to save $5 off.
Thanks, Magic Spoon, for sponsoring What Women Binge.
You know what's really hard?
What's that?
Creating and sticking with healthy habits. It's really hard sometimes, and especially when the to-do list is just like a mile long. There's like a million things we all have to do, but we still have to try to eat good, right?
Yeah, you know what makes it so much easier for me?
Let me guess. Splendid Spoon.
Yes, I'm telling you, this sponsorship has changed my life.
I know. I love it. Because of Splendid Spoon sponsoring What Women Binge, we have both become huge fans.
Yes.
And we eat it constantly, and we're always reporting back to each other on our favorite. Like one of my favorites is the spicy lentil soup.
I'm not saying the lentil soup.
The name right, but it's so good.
And the broccoli hemp seed soup.
Yeah.
I think the bowl.
Yeah.
It's delicious.
And of course, they have their vegan meatball marinara that's like a huge favorite.
So good. And the taco bowl.
Oh my gosh.
I could really go on and on.
Yes.
And the shots.
The recovery shots. Or there's a detox shot.
The detox shot is great. And the immunity shot.
Yeah. And they just give you what you need in that little dose right there. So you guys can get some too. You can get started and save $35 on your first order of delicious plant-based meals at splendidspoon.com/binge35.
That's right. splendidspoon.com/binge35 to save $35 on your first order. So it comes out to like $6.66 a meal.
Very much. That's amazing.
It's perfect.
And we want to thank Splendid Spoon for sponsoring this episode of What Women Binge. Everybody, we're back here with my mama, Paula Hart. The queen of the Hart family.
I am. Thank you for
Queen of
having me.
Hearts.
The Queen of Hearts.
Queen of Hearts is right here with us.
Mama Hart.
Mom, we have so many questions for you. I know Amanda has a ton.
I've got a list, a mile long of questions, actually.
Let's start. I mean, where do we even start? What do you want to start with, Mom? Want to start with
Well,
the beginning?
in 1976.
56, you were born. In
Once upon a time.
1976, I was born.
Yes, that's true.
And then what happened? You were in love with a man named Billy Hart. Funny enough, Debbie Harry's first kiss. I heard that in her audio.
Bizarre.
Yeah.
But not
my
same
dad.
Billy
Not my
Hart.
dad. Different Billy Hart.
No, she did ask him, though.
I asked my dad if
I
it was
would have
him.
asked too.
Because Debbie Harry in her book literally is like, my first kiss was Billy Hart at 6 years old in New Jersey. I'm like, Dad, did you ever go to New Jersey when you were really young? He's like, I don't think so. Was she a twin? I'm like,
I
no.
have no idea why the twin.
Yeah, I guess my dad kissed a twin when he was a little boy. I don't know.
Never heard about that, though.
Anyway, you kissed Dad,
I did.
and then you had a baby.
Because
Out
that's
of
how
your belly
that works.
button, yes. Or you vomited me up or whatever kids think. And then, 48 hours of back labor. You go ahead.
Oh, it was miserable. It was the
Great, thanks.
okay. I have 7 kids. Hers was the worst of all of them. It was pretty bad.
The first usually is, right? Amanda, was that the case
Oh,
for you?
yeah. Oh, horrible.
Yeah, terrible.
I love you, Riker, but no.
Yeah,
I don't
your
wanna
body
do
does
that
not
again.
know what to do.
No, it makes you even question having a second one.
And then you had 7.
And then I had 7, and I had 1 breach. Came out foot first.
She had 7 kids separate in different ways. She only had 1 in an epidural, only the last one.
Yep.
1 breach. Me, sunny side up, back labor, 48 hours. 1 came out in 15 minutes.
Yeah, it was
Brian was the
gamut.
big one, and he caused the most damage, I guess.
Yeah. Well, he got a little stuck.
Oh, yeah.
So all different ways.
Yeah.
All different ways.
And
Everybody
different-
has their own story.
One was 6 pounds. One was 10 pounds. They were all over the place.
What was
God
I?
bless you.
7-1.
Oh, that was decent size. Okay.
All right.
I assume by 7, though, they kind of just walk out. Like,
7 pounds?
no, 7 babies.
Oh,
Like,
7 babies.
That's what they thought, but it wasn't so.
really?
Yeah. They expected me to go like boom, boom, boom. Lickety split. Yep.
We were in production on Sabrina, and I get a phone call that she calls me. She's like, I'm on my way to the hospital. And just sitting on that set all day. Like,
Waiting.
we didn't have cell phones.
Well, I actually went in the morning. I went to work that morning. So, 8 o'clock in the morning, water breaks. Decide, well, it's going to be a while. I might as well go to work. I went to work, and then everybody's like, get out of here. What are you doing here? You need to leave.
That sounds like something I would do.
So she went. I just remember getting a phone call on set. They brought me like the cordless phone for the set, right? Like, your mom wants to. There's actually a picture of me talking to you, and I'm playing with my belly button ring. And I'm like, okay, love you. Good luck. You
Is
know,
that what
and
you did when you were nervous?
I guess so. I guess I played with my belly button ring because I know this picture. I have this picture of like doing that. And then, I guess it was that evening. How long was it? I can't remember.
She was born at 6 p.m.
Okay, so this
Which
is the
one is
7th
this?
child.
That was the last one. That's
Number
Samantha.
7.
Samantha, which tell them why she's named
So
Samantha.
she's named Samantha because Melissa would not let me name her Sabrina.
She wanted to name her Sabrina. How weird would it be if I had a sister named? Come on, you have to admit, I made a good choice there.
Probably
But you chose Samantha because
she's the second best witch.
Yes.
Samantha Stevens. Yeah, little bewitched action.
But it's
there.
funny because there's a thing about like you. Let's say your girls, Golda, Georgia, Riker. Like you kind of have the same sounding.
Mhm.
And you have the same thing. You have Melissa, Trisha, Alexandra,
They all
Samantha.
Yeah, and then you have
Emily
Elizabeth,
and Elizabeth,
Emily, and
but-
Brian. Yeah, but it's funny because you said mine were. Mason, Braden, and I really wanted Hudson, but our last name's Wilkerson, so it was like son. Nope, can't do it. Too much. But yeah, you really like that A sound, kind of like you do too. I think,
Mhm.
Amanda.
Yeah, Riker was hard because we just couldn't think of anything that really felt very us. And the family names, like we wanted him to have a family name, but at the same time, like it wasn't really our place because I'm the girl on my side of the family where the family names would come in, and my brother really needed that opportunity. And so it was a bunch of different things. And then we were watching Star Trek, and I was like, Riker.
Well, tell her why you named me Melissa. Look, I've got you gave me this. My
Oh,
Oh,
nameplate.
you're wearing it again. I love it.
Melissa's named Melissa because my favorite song was Sweet Melissa by the Allman Brothers.
And my dad
Oh,
could
yeah.
play it on the guitar. My dad had a 12
And it was
string.
such a beautiful song. And I said, you know what? That's a good name.
That is a good name.
Such
And it was a
hippies.
popular name, too, in 1976.
It's funny. I grew up with a few Melissas and then never knew a Melissa. I mean, run into one here and there, but never was like friends with a Melissa. I moved to the South and like 3 of my friends are Melissa. Super weird. All of a sudden it's everywhere.
Yeah, I feel the same
But
way.
only my age.
There's so many Amandas. So many.
Yeah, Amanda's a very popular
They're
name.
everywhere.
'Cause it's a pretty name. It's easy to spell. It's easy to like.
I'm kind of shocked my parents did that though.
Why don't we call you Mandy?
No.
Oh.
No, let's not.
If I call you
Actually-
Mandy, you call me Missy because I hate Missy.
Amanda was a name I considered for Emily.
Oh, really?
And that's
that makes sense.
same
It's
year.
sort of, yeah,
Yeah,
Emily.
I like Amanda,
Yeah.
and I think it suits me, but I'm kind of shocked my parents didn't do something more unique.
And Emily's character on Sabrina was Amanda.
Oh, that's right. My cousin Amanda on Sabrina is my sister Emily, who's your age. That's funny. Yeah.
That's interesting.
Cousin Amanda.
And my parents, funny enough, my parents did all A names.
Oh, really?
So it's a thing. I guess I carried on that tradition.
there you go.
And just now realized it.
That's interesting.
So, okay, we were talking earlier about something that people don't really know about in my career, which is the movie Crocodile Dundee. So, you want me to tell my version, then you tell your version?
Okay.
I love that there's two versions to this.
We're finding that a lot.
Yeah.
Ah,
Difference in a well, and I think the thing is, they always say that the way you remember a story is not the way it happened; it's the way you last told it. So the way you tell a story changes your history with that memory, and can twist it and contort it depending on who the audience is and what you're trying to get across, what the point is you're trying to get across. And so, I think there's different things like, well, okay, here's a memory from my childhood that you and Dad both swear never happened. I was a thumb sucker, right? I was a big thumb sucker
until
for
she
a
was
few
5.
years. Yeah. And I would use my mom's bathrobe, which I still have a piece of. It was a silky bathrobe, and I would hold it and suck my thumb at the same time. And I remember there was one night my parents said if my sister fell asleep, if I stayed in bed until she fell asleep, I could come up and watch TV with them. I could come downstairs and watch TV. So I snuck out of bed and went to watch TV with them. I don't think you guys were expecting me to actually make it through the maybe not falling asleep part. But we're watching TV. I'm sitting on the floor, sucking my thumb. And I'm assuming because it's like 1981, or yeah, I guess it was like 1981. I'm watching the TV and the news is on, and this guy is covered in pins. I swear he was like in a wheelchair and covered in like needles sticking out of his body everywhere. And I'm looking at this and I was horrified by it. And Dad goes, "Keep sucking your thumb, that's going to happen to you." And I never sucked my thumb again. But you and Dad both swear that never happened.
Never happened.
But it
I
did.
have no idea where this memory is coming from.
Because it haunts me. I never sucked my thumb again because I didn't want. Now looking back on it, because it was 1981, it was probably about acupuncture.
of course.
It's probably
yeah.
like a report on like the first big acupuncture thing. But at the time it was horrifying. It looked like Hellraiser, and like that like changed me, and so of course it's etched in my memory. But to you guys, it was probably just a funny one-handed comment that I would never remember as a kid.
We have no memory of that. whatsoever.
Traumatized me. So just shows how.
So while we're bringing up childhood trauma, let's talk about Crocodile
Talk about
Dundee.
Crocodile
that you
Dundee.
started.
So of course nobody knew what a big movie Crocodile Dundee would be. But
We got the audition and we said, Crocodile Dundee, what is this? This is some
stupid name.
a stupid name for a movie.
So I have to go to New York and I have to audition. But I remember first they had me in a hotel room and they were asking me if I could cry. And being 9 years old, I wasn't really like, yes, I've got this. I will go meta. I will get all, method and stab myself emotionally and bring the tears. I said to them, I'm like, well, sometimes this is literally what I said. I don't know if you know this. I was like, well, sometimes when I brush my teeth and then I use the cup to rinse, like a little water gets on my face and it drips down. It looks like a tear. Maybe we could just do that. Like just put tears on my face. So that's actually what we ended up doing, was putting eye drops on me. So what I had to do was I had to climb on in case you don't know what I'm talking about, it's because I was cut out. So you will never see this unless someone saved the footage somewhere. But I was climbing on the Alice in Wonderland statue in Central Park. And I guess he and his girlfriend are having lunch over on the side on a bench. And all these kids, tons of kids. I think one of my sisters is in it too, right? Is it Trisha? Someone else is in the movie with me.
Just as an extra.
Yeah, climbing around. So all these kids climbing on the statue, and I'm supposed to fall off. And when I fall, he comes over to help me. And he takes his like brown bag lunch bag, blows it up with air, puts it on my knee, and like magically takes away my boo-boo. So I'm assuming, looking back at the movie, that I had a great time. Like I didn't have to do the stunt or anything like that. They just cut it together very nicely. It was quick. It was easy. It was fun. And but I imagine that they cut it out because the movie had probably magical elements to it that they decided to make it more realistic. So I'm assuming they cut like a lot of magic stuff.
Actually, it was too long.
Oh, well, that too.
And then they ended up recreating that scene in Crocodile Dundee 2.
Which I don't remember that. I got to go back and watch that.
I don't know that I ever saw two.
2 takes place in New York mainly, right? No, wait. 1 takes place in New York.
Yeah, I don't remember where 2 takes place.
They're kind of half and half, all of them, right?
But they were really kind to you. It was very exciting to be a part of this big feature film.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And we...
Was that your first feature?
No, not really. But there were other...
I still get paychecks for them. They're like 16 cents.
Hey,
Once in a while, I get a paycheck for
adds
Crocodile
up over
Dundee.
the years.
Hey, over
Well,
the years?
You know, there's a bar in Los Angeles called Residuals that if you brought that check, they give you a drink for it.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
awesome.
They'll
that
take
funny?
whatever your residual check is, no matter
to
how much
keep
it
my
is, 9
residuals.
cents. They'll take it for
I got
a
to
drink.
keep my... Hey, some people need that, man, because that's all they live on is the residuals. We lived on the residuals for a while.
Yeah.
So talk about how we got started.
All right. So you know how when you have a baby,
Mhm.
people come in and do photo shoots of your child. And then they come and sell you the photos afterwards. So we had somebody come in to do photos of Melissa when she was 2. And then the sales guy, so it was when Trisha was born. It was pictures of the 2 kids at the same time. And the salesman went and said, "Oh my God, these pictures are fantastic. She should be a model."
Yeah.
And
Wow.
I sent the pictures out to like
know that far.
Ford. I sent it to like Ford and some of the other New
Yeah.
York modeling agencies. Never heard a word. Never. So comes around that
Because I was 2, and who wants 2-year-old models?
well, you were adorable though.
Well,
So then there was
oh.
when she turned 4, we did the photo shoot again.
Mhm.
Now I had 3 kids because it was when Lizzie was.
I didn't know this part of the story, by the way. This is not where I thought this was going.
Oh,
Keep
okay.
going. So Lizzie, so the third, so
When Lizzie
it goes
was born,
me, Trisha, Lizzie, Brian, Emily, Allie, Sammy, Mackenzie. Oh, that's my dad's daughter.
Mackenzie's not mine.
Mackenzie's not hers.
She's not related to me at all.
You share her last name right now.
Yeah, and she's sweet, and I take
Yes,
care of her.
and you do
I
take
try
care
to
of
be
her.
her West Coast mom.
We all lived together in LA for a little while. It
That's
was weird.
great.
Me, my mom, my stepdad, and my dad's daughter.
You know what? Blended families.
It was very blended.
It's
it would
what
be
you
a-
have to do.
Yeah, it would be a sitcom. But anyway, go on.
So the photographer comes in now. There's 3 kids, 4-year-old Melissa. They take these photos and they said, "These are amazing photos. She really needs to be a mom." And then they knew.
Same guy? Is that the same guy?
No, it's a different guy.
Oh.
But he knew somebody. I said, "Well, I don't know how to do this. You know, what do you do?" So he said, "I know somebody. Here's an address. Send them the photos and we'll see what happens." So I sent the photos. They called me right away.
Oh.
They
This is not the story.
They came out-
origin story that I know.
okay, so they came out on New Year's Eve because the photos were taken right around Christmas time. And they came out, the guy comes out New Year's Eve and he said, he was a manager. And he said, "Yeah, these are great, but we need to get new photos done and it's going to cost you $200. And sign on the bottom line." And I'm like, $200? I didn't have $200.
That's a lot of money. Yeah.
In 1976, or this
3
was
kids,
1980.
1981 or whatever.
Mhm.
I did not have that. I scraped it all together, paid the guy. He sent her out on an audition for a doll commercial. We took the train into...
Wait. But first, Romper Room.
Oh.
I
Okay.
thought I started this. Hold on. There was a guy who took pictures and wanted me to be a model. I thought it was all because I wanted to be on Romper Room.
Well, it is about... That's where the inside story is that she came to me constantly and said she wanted to be on Romper Room because Miss Marianne would look into the mirror every day and she would never say, "I see Melissa."
Because again, back to my name, it wasn't a popular name. I mean, it was sort
She'd
of popular,
be,
but
"I
not
see
really.
Susie, I see Katie, I
See
see..."
Amanda.
But it was
Never saw
never,
Melissa.
I see Melissa. So Melissa wanted to be on TV. So when this guy came to me with the photo thing, I said, it kind of just went together. So
Mhm.
I'm sorry, I went
I
down a
remember
different
sitting
path.
on the radiator and like watching you on the phone as you called the manager. Because I was like, I want to be on TV. You're like, all right. And you like start calling him or whatever.
Yeah, well, he responded immediately and he sent her out on first audition. She booked the very first audition.
Splashy. I was naked in a bathtub.
But so this guy
Aw.
took all of my cash and now I had to get into the city. And it would cost like $40, $50
Yeah.
to do a
Get
trip
the
to the
toll
city.
and the gas and the parking. And,
Well, we took the train the first few times. And
that's not cheap either, though.
No, it wasn't cheap. And I had all these other kids and we're trying to figure out who's taking care of. I had a new baby.
Mhm.
And we went into the audition and did what we had to do. And I said, okay, that's it. And we went home. And they called back and said, well, she has a call back.
You're like, I've got to do this again.
And, yeah, I said, what? We have to go back again. So we took the train into the city. Then they called me and said, well, now she's got it. And I said, I don't have any more money.
Yeah,
It's like,
I can't get her there.
I can't be doing this. And they said, well, you get paid to do this.
Now.
You get paid? Oh, okay. We can do that then. So we went in and she shot this commercial. They were two little girls shooting the same commercial.
Yes, if you watch the commercial, it's kind of like my hands.
Melissa in the bathtub. It's Melissa's hands, and it's not her face. It's somebody else.
I've actually been in a lot of talk shows where they'd be like, "That's you," and I'm like, "That's not me."
No,
wait, was I not in this commercial? And I didn't realize till a few years ago that it's not me in the commercial, but it's my hands.
That's so weird.
Yeah.
Why would they do that? Why would they spend money to have
kids can only be on? Well, I don't know if it was back then, but the child labor laws now are that like a child can only be on set for a certain amount of time, and especially I'm sure with the water thing, they probably can only put us in the water for a certain amount of time. But also with kids, well, we can talk about the Cosby show or Cosby commercial we did, but you always had like backup, like almost like understudies because you'd have issues with like if something happened with the kid or safety or time or school or whatever. Should we talk about the pudding pop commercial?
Oh, sure.
So my memory of it is that I was excited because the Cosby Show was huge and it was like what me and my sister loved to watch, and both me and my sister were going to be part of the kids that could be in the commercial. So there was like 20 kids, 30 kids.
They booked a whole bunch of kids and then
tons.
They never knew who was going to end up in the actual final.
They kind of pick you based on looks, and everybody was different. It was like everyone was like diversely different, and then like and then Cosby though I noticed that like if one kid was like, "I'm getting a bellyache," he's like, "Get him out of here," and then another kid would come in, and someone else was like, "I don't like chocolate," and they're like, "Get him out of here." And I learned really quick to sit there and be quiet and just, this is delicious.
Everybody was sitting on the edge of their seat.
Do exactly what he says.
He was not a nice man.
Oh
no, he was terrible. And he had this reputation as being America's dad.
Right.
And everybody loved him. And I knew back then he was not a nice man.
And there's a documentary. Actually, we had dinner last night with Patricia Heaton and her husband, and we were like, she was saying she watched the documentary and it's kind of lines up with our memories of him. He was mean to my sister.
He was very mean.
Sitting in the chair next to him getting her makeup done.
She said, "Hi, Mr. Cosby." And he just jumped all over her, just yelling at her.
Getting people to get her, "You're not allowed to talk to me."
You can't talk to me. Don't look him in the eye. It's one of those deals.
Oh, goodness.
And he was so mean to these children, and the children were all on edge. And
we're all just wanting to eat Jell-O.
They're 4 or 5 years old. These were little kids. And he was just so mean to everybody. And after we shot these commercials, people would say, "Oh, it was so great. How was it working with Bill Cosby?" I said, "Not a nice man."
Yeah, it was.
So you were.
I just remember sitting in that. I think it was director's chairs. We had like 4 director's chairs, and we're all sitting there, and all the cameras are on us. And I was just like, "I'm just gonna sit here and smile. I'm just gonna sit here and smile."
And she learned very quickly. I
like the pudding.
Melissa has a photographic memory, so when she was given lines to say,
she knew them like that.
She knew she couldn't read them. I would read them to her.
Have I recited my Dollhouse commercial for you?
Oh, this was amazing. So this is her Connecticut natural gas commercial.
It was not most of the commercials I did as a kid were national commercials. So that means they were seen across the country. But this was a regional for Connecticut natural gas. And it was just me in a dollhouse. And I had to say, you can probably tell just by looking at me. I've been a homeowner for years. Nice, isn't it? Dutch colonial, 3-bedroom, very up to date. But believe me, a big responsibility, especially when it comes to saving energy. I have to do everything. Make sure my heat isn't going through the roof, out the window, or under the door. Make sure all my appliances are energy efficient. Even make sure my furnace is up to snuff. You're probably wondering, how'd she get so smart about saving energy? Well, frankly, I had help from my friends at Connecticut Natural Gas. They simply know everything on how to get an energy audit to the latest on energy efficient equipment. Really, CNG has been my natural source for energy information for years. Give them a call. What CNG knows about saving energy could fill a house. And then the camera pulls out and you see that my house is the same as the dollhouse. So yeah, that was my commercial.
She
when
was going around closing and opening the doors.
10? 8?
No,
9?
you were 6.
And you still
you were 6
have
years
it memorized.
It's probably one of the only ones I have because it's such a rhythm in my head. And we worked on it so much. Was there an acting coach on set or did the makeup artist help me too?
No, you... I
did it for everyone.
And
I kept doing it.
So you fast forward to the first play she did on Broadway, off Broadway.
This was the one that
Imagining Brad.
to Clarissa, right?
Yes.
So this Imagining Brad, she had to audition for this play, and it was a 12-minute monologue at 12,
I made it 12
old.
minutes. It was like supposed to be like 25 minutes, but I said it so fast that I sped it up quite a bit.
But she was amazing. Frank Rich, who was a
New York
critic on the New York Times, who hated everybody.
Still is, right?
I don't know.
I think he just got repositioned at the New York Times, but yeah, anyway.
But this was back, you were 12 at that time. But Frank Rich raved about her. Like the review about Melissa's part of that play is just
and that's
unbelievable.
how the veterinarian that saw me in that play then promoted me to the producer of Clarissa. And that's how I got on Clarissa. You want to tell about how that audition went?
Well, my memory of that, actually, the audition itself is kind of vague, but the phone call that I got afterwards, I remember.
Well, didn't I? So there would be a lot of times when we'd be auditioning. So we'd have to drive into the city. We were an hour and a half away from the city, and in traffic and whatnot.
3
it
hours.
was a nightmare.
Felt
And
so
with all
long.
these kids and
So would all the brothers and sisters come along?
Sometimes.
depended on and if anyone else had to do it or there was no one to watch them or whatever. And so we'd
Happy
always
Miller
kind of-
used to watch them all
really?
the time.
Our
You
neighbor.
remember our neighbor?
So I used to just I used to get car sick too, and just long car rides to just listen to the radio. You know, back then you don't have Spotify.
Mm-mm.
Like we would pop in a cassette of some
Winding
Broadway
up your
show we like.
finger.
Yeah. Yep. Use the pinky, get in there and really turn that cassette when it starts to get wrinkled. But maybe you popped in a few cassettes, but we didn't like the same music necessarily. But then you'd listen to the radio and just and we didn't wear seatbelts back then. Just kind
I
of
put them in the way back of the
Yeah.
Oh, all the way in
I'd
the trunk
lay
of
in the back
station
seat,
wagon.
station wagon.
think about the
Yeah.
songs, and if there was a romantic song, I'd imagine some guy singing it to me, and I just
or I'd
have
make
all
her
these-
do her homework.
Yeah, that would make me really sick. But go to the city, do a quick 10-minute audition. Maybe if you were lucky, you had 3 of them, so you could go from audition to audition and make it worth it. But just a few train rides, but mainly in the car.
Mainly in the car. Because we had a very dangerous train ride once. But you tell your story and I'll tell that after.
Oh, so there were a lot of times when we'd leave an audition, my mom would often say so how'd it go? As you're leaving, and I'd be like, I got it, or I'd be like, oh, I sucked. So I think Clarissa, I think it was the second one or third one. You went, so how'd it go? And I was like, I don't think I got it. And you were like, oh my gosh, we took so much time out. We were supposed to be, you're missing dance and I'm missing Brian's recital and you're supposed to, we're never doing this again. It would always be when we were quitting that I would get a job, or any of us would get a job when we were
we frequently quit.
Well, the one thing we did learn not to do was change vacations. We've changed a lot of vacations for a possibility,
Mm-hmm.
and they never worked.
They never worked out. We said we're never doing that again.
Yeah. Yeah, they always say in the industry, the best way to get a job is to make plans and then you'll get a job. But yeah, so I think Clarissa was one of those where I was like, yeah, I don't think I got it. I think it's because of the New Kids on the Block story. So for those of you that don't know the New Kids on the Block story, I'm going to make you do your homework and go back and listen to episode 1. So the New Kids on the Block thing, I think blew it for me with the producer.
Mm-hmm.
I thought I just completely blew it with him. So I think I did one of those, that's it. Yeah, no,
I'm out.
It didn't work out. But it was days later, wasn't it? It wasn't right after the third audition.
No, it was days later. And at the time, we didn't have cell phones. We had beepers. And my beeper.
My mom and drug dealers and doctors
Yes.
had pagers.
But my pager's going off and it's like, call this number. I don't know this number. So I called the number and we
Had a payphone.
At a payphone. Well, yeah, you had to have payphones.
Yeah.
And we were on the corner, and I'll tell you where we were. We were just below 23rd Street. There was casting directors Broadway and 22nd
Oh.
Street. And there was a payphone on the corner there, and the beeper went off. And we called the number, and they said, you got it.
Oh.
And we were in the middle of the street just jumping up and down.
And you turn to me and you go, congratulations, Clarissa. And I was like, oh my gosh. Yeah, we jumped up and down. And then it was a lot of preparation of me leaving for Florida.
Oh, it changed our whole lives.
Yeah.
It changed everything, actually.
Did everybody go with you to Florida or just
No.
the two of you?
Kind of went by myself.
Well, I went initially, and then my other daughter, Lizzie, was doing a Broadway show on a cruise ship. So she needed people to go with her, too. So I went with Lizzie for a little while, and I would go back for a couple of weeks with Melissa, and we went go.
I had a guardian, and you were on the ship for 13 weeks with Emily and Lizzie, right? And Lizzie,
Yeah.
if I was at that point 13, 14, Lizzie was 10,
Mm-hmm.
and then Lizzie would have
Emily was 4.
would have been 4, and then my brother and Trisha stayed in New York with my dad, and so I had a guardian in Orlando most of the 4 years. Off and on for the 4 years, the 13 weeks at a time that I was in Orlando. But then it was during the cruise ship that my dad and the rest of the family shows up to get on the cruise ship with them. And my mom on day one, my dad was wearing a no bull poop shirt.
Yeah.
Right. It was a bull with the
with poop coming out of his butt.
Poop coming out of his butt. And the no, the red circle with the slash through it sign. So that's how my dad shows up at the cruise with his ripped off denim cut off shorts where the pockets hang longer than his jorts. And the pockets hang lower than the actual jean. And mom was horrified that this is how her family showed up. And you decided right there and then you were gonna. Well,
it wasn't that right then and there.
I mean, that was the moment that you were like, that was the straw that broke the camel's back.
But it was. I had decided at that point that I was going to end the marriage because I needed to change my life at that point. So that was big change for us.
Yeah. Then
we moved into New York City.
Which made auditions easier, except at that point I was going to college. So
no, you were still in high school.
Well, I was finishing Clarissa. Yeah, I had during the time of Clarissa. So I was either doing Clarissa, which meant I couldn't really work. Although I did do the Crucible on Broadway, understudied the Crucible at the National Actors Theater, and during one summer.
Yes.
And then, and we were...
And the other kids were doing Broadway shows.
We did become little Broadway brats, yeah.
Well, that was my other question. Obviously, we know your career. We've seen you go through all of this, but your siblings, being one of 7, I mean, I think I know about one of your sisters who did some acting, but I didn't realize everybody was doing it.
I gave everybody the opportunity, and then it was up to them whether they decided to continue on. I mean, Brian, he played Richard Branson in a number of commercials and print ads. Richard Branson as a child.
That's cool.
We had Emily
and Lizzie were Broadway kids. They could sing and they could perform, but
Lizzie did 3 Broadway shows. Emily did the Who's Tommy on Broadway. That
was fun.
I was like Little Tommy.
16, 17. Me and my boyfriend used to go pick her up from the theater at night and go up to Times Square and pick her up and take her back on the subway. And I don't know, there's something so fun about like hanging out in the back of the theater watching the play every night,
I had 3 kids on 3 different stages at one point.
Oh my goodness.
Melissa was doing...
I was downtown doing off-Broadway plays.
And
Lizzie was doing
Sound of Music at Lincoln Center. And Trisha was doing
a workshop for the Circle
Repertory Company, which was a full-on play as well. So
wow.
And one play would be dark on Sunday, one would be dark on Monday. So I was driving in 7 days a week. And I baked the pies.
You baked pies. I did a play where we had to have 4 pies a show with William. This is William Hurt, Lois Smith, who you might know from. We watched her in Twister this weekend.
Yes, Callista Flockhart, and then Susan Bruce, and Mom had to. And there was another gentleman, Ed. What was his name? Yeah, I can't remember his name.
I have the poster in my office.
It's like Seaver.
Oh yeah, Ed Seaver. I think you're right. So 6 people in this play, but William Hurt had to eat 4 different pies every night, take a bite of 4 different pies. So she baked the pies for the production.
Well, what happened was the production had a very limited budget, and they couldn't afford to have fresh baked pies. And I said, I volunteered. I'll bake the pies for you, not realizing.
As if you don't have enough going on.
Yes, I had to bake 4 pies a day, and on Wednesdays and Saturdays, matinee day, 8 pies.
And then bring them to the city.
And I would have to drive them into the city, and they had to be baked per the art director, not by what you want to eat, what a normal pie.
What it had to look like.
They had to look darker because with the lights reflecting.
You had to burn a pie.
And one night, I remember we forgot. You had to leave at a certain time to get there for half hour and get ready. And we forgot the pies.
And I had to turn around. So we were maybe...
I don't know why we just didn't stop at the grocery store and pick up.
I could have gotten Entenmann's pies.
I don't know why the production didn't do that, but...
No, so I turned around, nice. I went and got the pies, and they were still piping hot when they got there.
Amanda, name a song by Queen in 15 seconds. Go.
I can sing it. Mama. Ooh.
That's Bohemian Rhapsody. Good job. Good job. But you know what? I think if you were playing on Trivia Star, you totally would have gotten that.
I think so.
So Trivia Star is a free mobile trivia game, and it has over 60 different categories, and you get to choose the category, right?
Yes. My personal favorite is pop culture, but there is celebrities, animals, music, television.
So many. I always have to lay it down with my 9-year-old. He needs someone to hang out with him while he goes to sleep.
Oh.
And so I'm always trying to stay awake while he passes out and he's snoring next to me. And I'm always playing Trivia Star. So it's super fun for me to just have a little time to myself and
Yes.
play a little trivia because I love some trivia. And right now, Trivia Star is offering you 2,500 coins and 500 gems when you download and play.
Yes, and those coins are great for if you get stuck. You just get some hints with those, and they take care of you.
And they
It's
help
great.
you beat the level, yeah.
Yes, so if you want to get yours, go to the Apple or Google store and search for Trivia Star. Download Trivia Star for free today and flex those brain
Yeah,
cells.
Trivia Star has thousands of 5-star reviews in the Apple Store and is the #1 trivia game on the App Store. So download it today and challenge yourself.
So, Melissa, you know our modern diets aren't helping our problems as we age.
No, for sure. I mean, our bodies produce less than half of the collagen they did in their 20s.
I know, and it makes us feel old.
Yeah, because you know what collagen is good for, right?
What?
It makes our skin, hair, joints, nails, bones. It just helps us look better and feel better, and we need it.
Oh, is that why I've been looking so fresh these days?
That's why, because you've been using BioTrust's ageless multi-collagen proteins.
That must be exactly why.
You know, it provides you with 5 types of collagen needed to support the entire anti-aging process, plus essential amino acids to make it a complete protein.
That's right. And many other brands on the market only use 1 or 2 types of collagens.
Yeah, it supports healthy skin, hair, nails, bones, joints, all of it.
All the
it also
things.
supports athletic performance, recovery, and an active lifestyle, which we both have.
We both created thanks to BioTrust.
Yes, and it supports gut health. It's easily digestible. It's taste-free and odorless. And it's third-party lab tested to ensure purity and potency.
And it doesn't clump. Do you hear me? It does
Doesn't
not
clump. I love that.
It's a miracle.
It can be mixed in anything hot or cold. There's no artificial colors, flavors, preservatives, or sweeteners. Basically, guys, come on. It's all around good. It's all the stuff you need and none of the stuff you don't.
And you need to try it for yourself if you haven't already. Here's what I want you to do. Go to biotrust.com/binge, BINGE, and get your special offer of up to 51% off today.
You'll also get free shipping on your order and support from personal health and fitness coaches to work with you, and they'll share their expertise with you. So that's biotrust.com/binge, BINGE, to get your special up to 51% off offer.
We thank you, BioTrust, for sponsoring What Women Binge.
Let's tell everybody about Sabrina.
Oh, Sabrina. Okay, Sabrina was very
You
interesting.
act like you're shocked that that question is coming.
Well, it came up quickly.
Well, we go from Clarissa to Sabrina. Oh, all right. So before we get into the meat of Sabrina, we forgot to give you your fuzzy socks. Look, I've got
Oh.
my llamas on today. But can I pick yours out, Mom?
Yes, please.
Give you the unicorns because they match your outfit and now you're monochromatic.
So cute.
Oh, they're super
Tone on
super
tone.
cute.
Is that what I call it? What is it?
It's a monochrome.
Monochromatic.
Monochrome.
Mhm.
There's another word for it. Block coloring? Block? No?
No.
There's something.
The block coloring is kind of an outfit you were wearing the other day reminded me of block coloring.
Yeah, block
The other day
coloring
she was
is
talking
like
about because she listens to our podcast.
literal
Yes.
blocks of color in different places.
So I guess you're monochrome, Mom.
Well, I feel
Yeah.
like I know you because I've been watching the podcast.
I know. Well, and Melissa talks about you like all the time. And so I know all of these stories that are so great about you. And so when I'm talking to people, they're like, "Oh, are you so excited? Your Melissa's mom's coming." And I was like, "Yeah, I can't wait to meet her." And they're like, "But you don't." Because I
don't know
talk
her.
about you like I do know you.
Well, it's funny because I thought I knew you too. So-
Look
great.
at that.
We're
Hug it out,
bonding.
girls.
but
Hug it
now I
out.
have, look at these little.
Those are really cute.
Those
These
are
super
so
cute.
I know.
I like these.
Kind of jealous, actually. Maybe leave them at my house when you go.
Yeah, no, I don't think so.
So
Sabrina.
So Clarissa ends,
Clarissa ends, and
you're
Melissa-
managing my career at this point.
Yes, I had been managing your career for a while. I actually managed a lot of children's careers. I started a management company out of my kitchen, and I had kids doing Pampers commercials and all
Wow.
kinds of stuff.
Well, of
So
course,
you
because
realized
I was.
you were good at this because all of yours had been successful.
Well, that's
already.
everybody came knocking on the door.
Gotcha.
Yeah, so that manager that I signed Melissa up with
Mhm.
turned out to be very crooked. And so he
Yeah,
took
the
our
one-
last bit of money.
The one advice you can give to people when they want to get in the industry is never pay someone before you get paid. Like they should get a percentage of what you make. They should not get paid.
You never
up
pay
front.
anything up front. And the whole photo, picture,
Mhm.
money,
Yeah, it's a bunch
that's
of
a bunch of baloney. So you never pay anything. So I paid that guy, and Melissa was she booked everything. She booked her first, third, and fifth auditions. So it was first Splashy, then it was the GE commercial, and then Fritos. And so,
So those are national commercials.
all
These
within
are big money.
in a month's time, she had booked.
So
these are
every time it
huge.
reruns, you get residuals, right? And like on a national commercial, it's running across the country. So every time it runs on a network, on a commercial, I mean on a show, on a game show, on a soap opera.
It was big in the soap operas.
Yeah, and so so I was able to kind of support our family for a little while, like help out with. Dad was in construction, and mom had a million children at home, and so it was a nice little. I think you and Dad were both shocked at like.
Well, who knew? I told you I didn't even know you made money at this.
That's
when
amazing.
we got started. So because Melissa became very popular, and this guy was such a crook, I was able to develop relationships with a lot of the agents, the children's agents in New York City, and I became very friendly with them, and I would keep sending them clients, and they said, why don't you just manage other people's kids and collect a percentage? So that's what I did. And then it became too big a business to be able to manage my own children as well as other people's kids. So I had to decide, and I decided my kids, because Trisha was doing Burger King commercials and
Tylenol,
Lizzie was doing all kinds of commercials. Melissa and Trisha did a Tylenol commercial together as sisters.
Together.
Just when
I think you can find it on YouTube.
Yes, you can. But there was a big Tylenol scare right after that. Somebody had poisoned the Tylenol that was in
gosh.
So they pulled the products and then they pulled the commercials. That was kind of sad.
I think that it ran again later on though, because it ran for a while.
It did run for a while because you would get like a 2-year agreement and you would collect money.
My sister's sitting in the chair and I'm going around her. I'm like, Boo, you want to play dress up or something like that? And she's like, no, I don't feel good. And I'm like, Mom, whatever her name was in the commercial, Emma doesn't feel good. And then they bring Tylenol for all your children's needs, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a great campaign.
Trisha did teddy bears. What was it called? Teddy Grams.
Yeah.
She did that with Sarah Michelle Gellar. She did a commercial with her and they became good friends on that.
Yes, my kids were working all the time.
That's crazy.
So I had to decide, and I decided to then, I actually sold off that part of my business, and I just managed my own kids. And then when Melissa was doing Clarissa.
Don't talk about Sabrina yet. Hold on, I have another story we got to tell.
Okay.
I did General Hospital. Was it General Hospital?
Yeah.
So this is the kind of stuff that happens like in these auditions and stuff. What was it?
It was
Another World.
Another World. A General Hospital was California. Yeah,
so,
we were in New York.
Because in New York, there's only a certain amount. Like in New York, you're not necessarily you can audition for big movies. You're not necessarily going to audition for TV shows. You might audition for a series, as to be a regular, or you're not really going to like jump in and do a guest star on a show. Which is probably why I was like the only '90s girl that wasn't in Wonder Years. Whatever, it's okay. I'll be okay. I'll be okay. But there was this soap operas were a big thing in New York, so I auditioned for a soap opera, and when you go on an audition, you don't say you can't do anything. And I learned this early on. We auditioned for Mermaids. Me and Trisha both auditioned for the movie Mermaids. Christina Ricci got the part. But it was like, we're in there, and Trisha and I get in a huge fight. And I was like, I don't even know why you're at this audition. You can't even swim. And Mom goes stepping in my office and pulls me by my ear in the hallway. She's like, you don't tell anyone that Trisha can't swim. What if they want her for this part? And it was like,
she's going.
That's the kind of thing. She will learn to swim. And that's like what you do in these auditions. You're like, oh yeah. Like we just did a movie where we're like asking people if they can ride horseback. Yeah, I can ride horseback.
Everybody showed up.
Nobody can ride horseback.
Nobody could ride a horse.
So this is what you do in the industry, right? So you got to take it and leave it. Like, can you? And we'll see. So I said that I could roller skate for this audition.
Oh no!
For Another World, was it?
Yeah.
So do you remember what happened?
So we get there, and the good thing, maybe bad thing, is that you had to roller skate on a boardwalk. So
which you can't do anyway.
A really wooden, old rickety boardwalk at Rye Playland.
Rye Playland, which is kind of like Coney Island, like an old,
Okay.
Oh.
And we were up there, and
I have to race a guy pushing a woman in a wheelchair. That's the role.
To the theme song from
Chariots of Fire.
Chariots of Fire. And they actually did it in slow motion.
I think they did that because we couldn't possibly pull it off. That my little 9-year-old self on roller skates on a boardwalk could beat a grown man pushing a wheelchair.
He was pushing a wheelchair.
But the wheelchair has big wheels. That rolls right over those little divots. The roller skates
and she's in a little roller skate.
But I'm in the parking lot like, I got to learn how to roller skate. But we used to go roller skating like every Sunday. But I guess it had been a while.
You did roller skate. You just didn't.
Oh.
You weren't a really good
I was scared.
Skater.
I was scared.
I was a terrible roller skater.
Yeah.
Terrible.
I tried to do it for my 26th birthday. I was like, I'm having a roller skating party. No one's allowed on rollerblades. Has to be roller skates. You put those things on, you're like, my ankles are going to snap.
Rollerblades, I think I could do.
Yeah. But I actually made everybody
sturdier.
Yeah.
Much sturdier.
They hold you in. But like roller skates, it's so wobbly and your ankles are just, it's no good.
Oh, no.
It's no good.
Do you remember the Lucy Arnaz show?
Oh, yes.
So Melissa, she just mentioned before about not many TV shows, but there were a couple TV shows that shot in New York. And Melissa played Lucy Arnaz's niece on the Lucy Arnaz show, which only lasted...
Wasn't her daughter?
No, you were her niece. 6 episodes.
I did 6 episodes?
No, but you were on the show only lasted 6 episodes.
Yeah, so that's Lucille Ball and Desi Arnaz's daughter.
And Melissa played.
So it's kind of a big,
her niece.
That's a huge deal.
And knowing. However, somebody wasn't allowed to watch I Love Lucy as a child.
Wasn't appropriate.
That one?
Why?
Well, there was just
You thought she was just a little too ditzy. Like women shouldn't be seen as that.
She was not a good role model.
Okay.
For women. She was always, and you have to remember too that show was filmed in the 50s.
Right.
And now we're in the 70s and 80s.
Mom was a major hippie.
And it just wasn't, it really wasn't appropriate.
You wanted something different.
Yeah, I wanted a strong female role model. And I felt she was flighty and sneaky, and she always, it was funny. As an adult watching it was funny, but I didn't think kids needed to learn.
I also
from her.
wasn't allowed to wear black.
No, not allowed to wear black. And that goes back to my childhood too.
Mm-hmm.
I wasn't allowed to wear pants.
Like, period, the end.
Yeah, my dad said, no, I had to wear a dress.
I feel like my mother-in-law has told me that there was a certain point of her life she wasn't allowed to wear pants either.
Yeah.
Was that just a thing at the time?
Yeah, it was. And my dad wasn't into women's lib and all that kind of stuff.
Okay.
So
And you became a hippie and rebelled. And then I became like a goth girl in New York City and rebelled against the black thing.
Wait, goth?
Well, I wanted to be goth so bad. It's just so hard.
But
It's
she's
a lot
not,
of makeup.
This
and a
is
lot
not
of,
goth.
I
No.
can't. I'm a
This
look.
is
I'm a
not goth.
nowadays. I'm a leggings and sweatshirt girl, but I used to be a jean and t-shirt girl, as I say. But goth is a lot of work, man. There's a lot of layers to it.
A lot of eyeliner.
Boots, the eyeliner, the hair,
How to
the
avoid the sun.
jewelry. Yeah, it's a lot. I really wanted to do it, but I just did not have the strength for it or the time in the morning. I'm
You're
a
also
roll out of bed.
friendly. Although I will say this, most of my friends who were goth in high school were very friendly. They just gave off a very intimidating vibe.
Well, you give off that vibe to keep people away. And in New York City, people tend to keep their distance anyway. So you're not making friends in New York unless you're in class with them or they're your roommate or
you're me and you just start talking to people.
Well, actually, I did meet a guy outside my window just because I was spitting gum on the bus stop outside, and he became one of my best friends. But
we had a very interesting house when we moved into the
Is
city.
this the one with the skylight with the bars?
yes, so my room was in the attic of the townhouse, and we had 3 stories, and my mom took me there first when she left my dad. I went to the apartment. My siblings weren't there. None of our stuff was there, and I just spent like 2 days just super depressed. Like, what am I going to do? How am I going to start my life again? Grew up in that house, and all my friends are back there, and all my siblings, all my stuff. Like, I didn't have anything. But I look outside, and there's a bus stop, and I was chewing gum at the time, and I always had gum collections. Like inside my locker, I would start a gum collection.
Oh.
I auctioned off a shoe during my Clarissa days. We had to decorate a Converse sneaker, and I decided to cover it in bubble gum, chewed bubble gum.
Oh, Melissa.
I made everyone on set put their chewed bubble gum somewhere on the shoe until the shoe was covered. And so I was chewing gum, and I was like Veruca Salt, I guess. Is it Veruca who does it?
Not COVID friendly.
No. This is way before that. And I'm looking outside, and there's a bus stop, and I was like, I wonder if I could spit my gum on the top of that bus stop. And I did, and I got it on there, and I avoided everybody else on 6th Avenue, luckily, that time. I was like, I'm going to start a collection of gum on top of that bus stop.
Oh, my goodness.
And so that made me feel better. That was the moment I was like, I feel so much better. But wait, we still have to get to Sabrina.
But wait, in that house.
Oh, that house.
So that was when Clarissa was happening. But we had kind of the Broadway show kids house. So all the showbiz kids used to come and hang out. So Laura Bell Bundy was singing out the front window, Lacey Chabert.
Macaulay Culkin came once or twice.
Yeah, and I always had to give him money to get home. He never had enough train fare to get home. And he would always bring his brother.
Eden Regal, who became a soap star.
Yes.
And her brother Sam, who's now a big animation director, producer.
And they just did this Vox Machina.
Oh, Vox Machina.
Yeah,
is their new movie? Yeah.
And it's like
a show. It's a show.
It's a show on Netflix that just is doing huge numbers.
Yeah, that's Sam Riegel. So it was a whole group of people kids that were like, there's this alternating cast of like Les Miserables, right? So like the kids that are in that become really close, and then the next cast that rotates in, or the understudies, or there's the Saturday performers and the Tuesday performers, and you kind of get to know everybody, and they'd all hang out at our house, or vice versa. We'd go to their houses and stuff. So it was a fun group of kids.
We had a piano, and everybody would sit around, and we'd have sing the voices that sang out of my front window was just incredible.
These kids are like, these are the
so
show kids.
Talented.
These are like,
yes,
hello world. Like,
we
not
had
shy.
It was a lot of fun. It was really a lot of fun.
amazing.
And then across the street was PS 41. where my two youngest, where Brian and Emily went to school. Lizzie went the first, when we first moved there, because then she went to junior high after that. But walking through the parking lot, PS 41, or it wasn't the parking lot, it was actually the schoolyard, and somebody handed me, a friend of Emily's mother handed me a comic book that was Sabrina the Teenage Witch. And I had never seen this comic book before, but I was very familiar with Archie and Jughead and all the other Archie comic book comics. But Sabrina was a very minor character, and there was only one comic book published a year around Halloween. And somebody handed me this comic book, and Melissa was finished with Clarissa, and we were trying to find the next project.
And Mom was very particular about, like, because I had auditioned for Lolita and I auditioned for
it was
Eyes
very
Wide
uncomfortable.
Shut. And
all this was...
she didn't like all that stuff.
Oh,
with me.
yeah, that's very...
Well, coming off Clarissa, which was very wholesome, and we...
family-oriented.
Yeah, and nothing... I didn't want her to do something that everybody couldn't watch.
Well, and as my manager, trying not to... I mean, at the time, without even thinking about branding, it was sort of branding and thinking about that demographic and that fan base that I've built up and carrying them with me, as opposed to leaving them behind to try to have some grandiose, Oscar-winning performance where I'll,
right.
It was more about growing than it was about, like...
Well, and a loss of innocence on your part, too.
Yeah, she was only 13.
Yeah.
Hey, I wasn't allowed to wear black, so,
Until she started on camera you wore black. You wore some black on Clarissa.
On Sabrina.
On Clarissa, you
Clarissa, yeah.
Black
Right around
touches.
the time I turned a teenager, black was okay.
And I wouldn't let them tweeze her eyebrows.
Oh yeah, if you watch Clarissa, you can see that for sure.
I loved your eyebrows.
I know. I wish I still had them. I'm missing a few. They
Me
look terrible
too.
today too. I tried to color.
This is
them.
what 2002 does to eyebrows.
But the more comfortable I got while Melissa was doing Clarissa, the stronger I got also. So I started out voicing my opinion. I felt I needed to be her advocate on set.
I mean,
during Clarissa.
they say stage mom like it's a bad thing, but
No, it's a
I had to
beautiful
protect
thing.
her.
she was a momager before
Before there were
Kris
momagers.
Jenner.
Yeah.
I did this years and years ago, and I was actually nicknamed the Dragon Lady for a while.
On the set of Clarissa.
On the set of Clarissa.
They would say the Dragon Lady was coming.
Because
And my dad called us the Old Brown Bear. You had a lot of nasty nicknames.
I didn't deserve Old Brown Bear, but
Yeah.
Dragon Lady I did deserve.
Yeah, that's a husband.
Because
thing.
I had to advocate for her. If I didn't do it, who was going to do it? They would say, "Oh yeah, because it was non-union. No need for lunch." I said, "No, she gets an hour for lunch. She's going to have an hour for lunch." And they said, "But we need the time." I said, "Sorry, she's 12 years
Looking
old."
Back on that, why did we need that much time? It was a regular sitcom. I don't know why we worked such long hours on this show when other people could get it done in one night, and we were doing it over the course of 3 days with 2 days of full rehearsal. It was insane.
It was.
I don't know why.
We got into like doing Melissa and Joey. Everything was boom, boom, boom.
Oh, I worked 4 days a week for a few hours a day. It was like, and that's the way sitcom has
That's the way it's
always
supposed to
been.
be. That's why that is the best job in Hollywood.
It is.
Sitcom.
Sitcom is the best job in Hollywood if you have a family, if you want to get home at a certain hour,
Sleep in
if
your
you
own
want
bed
to
at night.
laugh.
You want to have a real life? You do a
That's
sitcom.
how you do it.
Yeah.
So you got the comic book.
Oh, so I got the comic book, and I looked at it and went, I mean, even the drawing on the cover was Melissa. And I said, "This is great." I showed it to her. I said, "This could be your next project." The next day, I took the train up to Larchmont, New York, to the home of Archie Comics. And I called them and made an
And
appointment.
let them know you were coming
Let them know I was coming. I didn't just
Storm
drop
the door.
in.
Show up.
And I went in and I had this little meeting with them. And the Archie comic people were very aware of who Melissa was, because Clarissa was a very big deal.
Mm-hmm.
And I said, "Well, I might want to do this as her next project." And they said, "Okay." And I asked them for an option on it, and it cost me $1.
Wow.
And then you took it to Viacom. They made a movie for Showtime.
So we were still living in the city, and Viacom was right 42nd Street and Broadway.
And that was where our connection was, because Clarissa being Nickelodeon is a
That's
Viacom
Viacom,
country. Country. It's a
Company.
Viacom country.
Well, I
Company.
actually went to Nickelodeon Pictures first. I went to Debbie Beasy, who ran, it was a new movie division for Nickelodeon. And I went in and I showed her the comic book. And she said, "Well, I don't think this is a feature film for us, but it might be a good TV movie." So it went off. That's when it was handed off to
By the way,
Simon.
it would have been a great movie.
It would have been a great movie. Today, you would have made that as a feature.
I mean, Harry Potter is a step above, but that would have been great, as a feature. I mean, we did it for Showtime as a movie, and it was really good.
So when I made the original deal for Sabrina, it wasn't a deal for a TV series. It was for a series of movies. So we were going to do 3 movies for Showtime. But we did the first one, and it did huge numbers. It aired right before Thanksgiving. No, Easter. Sorry, wrong holiday. Right before Easter. And it was the highest family film that Showtime had ever had.
Well, and the whole time you were doing, you were telling them, like, this would be a great series, guys. This would be a great series, guys. And they're like, And then when you went in the editing room,
we cut a 3-minute videotape, VHS tape, that I carried around to the auditions. And the thing is with the auditions,
the
pitch meetings.
The pitch meetings.
Melissa
went out to LA. I remember you going, I'm going to LA to pitch this Sabrina show. I was like, good luck. She's a dreamer.
Well, but I had CAA behind us. So Melissa was doing all these public appearances for Nickelodeon. And I get this call, some agent from CAA wants to meet with us while we're out in LA once.
And CAA, if you don't know, is
huge.
Like
at the time, it was the largest agency.
Right.
And they want to come see us. Yeah, sure. Okay, we're going to be in trailer number 4. Come and find me. Sure enough, David Tenzer came to find me.
Who we still work with.
He is our attorney, but we've been with David Tenzer many years. But he came knocking on the door and he said, I really want to rep you guys. So they were very instrumental in helping us
package and sell the show.
They packaged the show,
make it a franchise.
Yeah,
I mean, go ahead, give the list of stats that you love to give.
Oh well, we did 163 episodes of the series, 3 TV movies, 2 video games, sneakers, ice cream cones. Good Humor had a
animation show.
We did
65 episodes.
65 episodes of the animated show. I mean, it became a little
books. Sticker books, hair things.
But we did 250 titles of books for Scholastic. It is still to date the largest number of titles for one series.
Wow.
In books.
And like nobody knows that she's the power. Everyone thinks that, this came from somewhere and my acting made this all happen or something. But she not only got the rights, not only made the movie, not only sold it as a series, but hired every cast. When I said I wanted Debbie Harry on the show, or I wanted the Violent Femmes, or that she got them, like she was booking talent, she was handling the auditions, she was approving the wardrobe, she was doing the editing. I mean,
wow.
Every
write of
all the music,
hiring all the writers.
All
the
the
music
directors.
was a big deal to you. So people that watch it nowadays hear different music because
so our budgets were somewhat limited,
right?
And the music to license the music in perpetuity, which is what they like you to do for anything really.
Now you have to. I feel like
it's huge
right
dollar
big
amount.
checks.
So,
but I mean, if you remember the show, we had
NSYNC,
Christina Aguilera, we had songs
Britney
from No
Spears.
Doubt, we had, I mean, and then the old timers too. Like we had some older music.
Johnny
on there.
Mathis did a Christmas episode.
Yeah, so those songs are very costly. So if you want to have those songs on, how many times did they get to play?
They get to play for 2 years.
Are you serious?
And that was it. And then
that's why the
every
show never
song-
went to DVD for a very long
time because all of the music had to be remastered. Every single episode, all the music was
So
replaced.
for those of you mad out there that it didn't get to DVD fast enough for you, blame her.
It's all your fault.
But if
I
you like the show, blame her.
But at the time, you're not thinking about those things. You're thinking like right now.
Who knew how long it was going to last?
Right. And would it be a hit? Would it take off? And it clearly
And you want it to be
did.
the best it can be out of the gate.
Right.
You don't want to, you're not really, a TV show, you're not really, back then, you're not really thinking about the longevity of these things. Maybe they end up on Nick at Night or something back then. Nowadays with streamers and TiVo and, all that. I mean, we didn't even think about DVDs back then. I was getting VHS copies to take home.
Right. That you
So-
never watched.
That I never watched, as we've established. Someday we'll have to do a Sabrina.
So we do have
episode.
to talk about something that has come up in almost every episode of this podcast, and that is the cat. We understand this cat, Salem, right? That was his
Yeah, Chris Kirkpatrick he remembers Justin torturing the cat.
Torturing the cat. Mm. Yes, the cat.
Not the real cat. Justin didn't torture a cat. I don't want to make it
No.
sound like he's a
No.
he's an animal
animatronic
abuse.
cat, people.
It's fake cat. Fake
He
cat.
was playing with it, and this thing cost $250,000. So it's
I thought it was $150. Okay, I was way off.
No, it was $250, and we had We had a sitting up cat and a laying down cat.
So it was two different animatronics. Where do you get an animatronic made?
So there were places that we went to, people like Jim Henson.
Mm-hmm.
We went to a number of different places, and we found a place in LA that did animatronics. And he had several different, there were many different cats, because after the first year.
Each season you can see the cat change a little bit.
But let's explain. So for the movie version, for the launch of it, it was kind of the pilot movie that we shot up in Canada. We only had a live cat.
Okay.
And we animated his mouth. But the cat had to sit perfectly still, and the mouth just went like this, right? So I was told, and if you look at it, he had a British accent.
Oh, yeah.
I don't even remember who the voiceover actor was for that.
Interesting.
So once we went to the series, I was given the choice, either we could use a live cat, and he would have 3 lines per episode, or we could do a puppet cat, where you could do whatever you wanted.
3 lines an episode. Can you imagine
3
that?
lines an episode.
He wouldn't be a very big character.
No, he would have been.
It would be a
very
one-liner. He'd be running through the room with a one-liner. You probably wouldn't even have had to animate his mouth because he could have just run
just
through.
ran and put it over him like we did a lot of times with the live cat.
Yeah.
But we decided to go with the puppet cat, and the puppet cat then didn't look. The first time it looked kind of like a drowned rat, you know,
Yeah.
and we weren't really happy with that one, and then.
And then the show kept going, so
But
we
the
got
show
more money.
Yes, as the budgets increased, we were able to build better and better cat. And then when we did Sabrina Down Under, we needed a love interest for Salem, so we built
I forgot about that.
we built a white cat. But the people who did Babe in Australia built that cat,
Oh.
so it's actually I thought it was a better puppet.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I thought they did a better job, but.
Well, they said cat, so Jim Henson passed because
They passed on it because they said it's too hard to
do a cat.
To do a cat, a dog is much simpler.
Because cat has so many like muscles in
Too
its
many
face.
muscles.
So like with our cat, you had Maury was always under our table or couch or whatever the cat was sitting on. Maury was underneath there, and she would just control the body and the tail. She had 2 handles,
And somebody else was doing
and
the
one's the
face.
butt. And then there's 2 other guys, Tom and Jim, with remote controls, almost like little game controls.
For eyes and ears.
my
So one of
word.
them did like the mouth and the cheeks and the chin, or the mouth, the
It was
cheeks,
just this section.
and the nose. And then one did like eyes, eyebrows, and ears. And so they all had to work together to make this thing. You know, it was true puppetry in a way of like this choreography of what they had to do for them. And then we had the live cats. We had like 16 live cats. And then we had what we called Stuffy. So we had a standing up Stuffy and a sitting down, like laying down and sitting up. And Stuffy's what we used to rehearse, but Stuffy's also what we used when like there's some scenes where he's like fighting something behind the couch and like he's being thrown up in the air. So that's Stuffy. Or I think he's being dragged behind a car and that's Stuffy. Like, so Stuffy was the one we basically abused, but he was what we rehearsed with. And then the animatronics, the same, laying down, sitting up. But so we might have like the live cat. People always ask this question. They just cannot figure out how it works. But like the live and directors didn't know how it works, which is why I started directing, because the cat was the most difficult part. You know, you'd be like, okay, real cat would run in. Kathy, our cat trainer, would like beep, beep, beep over here with the food, right?
Oh, and we always had to cover up those beeps.
The beeps were a big
in
problem
post production. It was always a pain in the
you
neck.
hear that beep, beep, beep while you're saying your lines. You try not to talk over the beeps, but you never know when she was going to beep it. The cat's running in and jumps up on the table. Then we cut to the close-up of the cat. And now it's the puppet. You know, that kind
But
of
you
thing.
couldn't do them one to one. So you would cut to something else, and then you would cut to the cat.
So there was time.
Yeah, because if you went from the live cat to the puppet cat,
It was so
It's
obvious.
so obvious.
jarring. Yes,
You could go from a really wide
really wide.
of
yes.
the cat, like
so
just
now does
running in.
Stuffy like live on the back of your sofa somewhere?
You know, I don't know why I
don't
don't
know
have
what
Stuffy. Of all the things I've stolen, some of them are behind me. If you're watching on YouTube, some of the stuff I've stolen from sets is behind me. But or we'll have some new stuff coming in soon.
Mhm.
But you know, I take something from every set, and for some reason I don't have Stuffy.
Stuffy was always pretty beat up, though.
Yeah, Stuffy wasn't something we
looked like
really
he got
took
run
care
over,
of.
run over by a car.
And
Many,
he
many
did get
times.
run over quite a few times. Remember we had the cat drive a fire truck? He always drove like vehicles too.
And we dressed him. Oh, the most fun that the costume department had was
They loved
building the
dressing the
costumes
cat.
for him. They
Building the
loved
costumes for the
building
cat.
those
You know how
costumes.
people love to put their pets in outfits. Do you put your pets in outfits, Amanda?
Occasionally the dog will get in an outfit. The girls dress the cat in much to her dismay all the time. But
Yeah. I feel like it's a small amount of torture, but you know, once in a while for a Halloween costume, it's got to happen.
Hillary loves to dress my dog. Hillary will show, our friend Hillary
It's our good friend.
will show up at my house with costumes for my dog.
That makes sense.
And she'll just go in another room, and all
She's
of a sudden
crafty.
Sunday runs through. The last one was an ice cream sundae, like a banana split. So she just runs through the room, and I'm like, is she wearing ice cream? And Hillary's just like,
Sunday's
So
wearing
Hillary
a
would
Sunday.
like working in the costume
oh,
department.
she would.
Yeah, our
She'd
costume
be great
department
at
had
it
some
too.
fun. I mean, we got to do some crazy stuff.
So now Salem lives in a museum. Is that correct?
Yes.
The Atlanta Puppetry Museum.
Yes.
Puppetry Arts.
The Puppetry Arts
But
Museum
wait,
in
so
Atlanta.
we had this argument with Chris.
Yes, he was in the Smithsonian.
Oh, she
I saw
watched that episode. Okay, good. She
Mom's
knew
a
where I
fan,
was
Amanda.
going.
Mom's a fan.
I'm so glad.
Yes.
If
This
your
is
mom
probably
wasn't
the only.
a fan, we're doing it wrong.
This
Yeah,
might be the
really.
only thing of mine she's ever watched. just kidding. You've
She
watched all of them.
created it. She definitely watched
Do you know how, when I edit her stuff, how many times I have to see her do the same thing over and over?
Well, let's talk about
again.
Melissa and Joey. So we started off with the movie. So I had done Holiday in Handcuffs and had a relationship with
Right.
ABC Family, and we had a project, My Fake Fiance, that Mom was a big fan of.
Wonderful.
I don't know that
love
one.
that movie.
Oh, it's
So
right
much
up your
fun.
alley. It's about a
Okay.
wedding. Joey and I meet at a wedding,
and they hate each
we
other.
hate each other. But his stuff all got stolen, and my stuff got stolen, and he needs money for a bad bet he placed. And so we decide that we can. I mean, if these guys can get married and get all this loot, why can't we? So we decide we're going to fake a marriage so that I can get stuff and he can get the money, and we're going to split it when we divorce. So we fake a wedding, and
No,
it's,
you were actually never going to go through with the wedding.
I thought we were.
No, you were going to call it off after.
Oh, but somehow we end up on the altar. Anyway,
Well-
I won't ruin it for you, but it's really funny.
It's a really
We're going to
fun-
add this to the media retreat because
Okay, we're doing a
I need
media.
to see
We
that
got to
one.
go away for like 5 months and watch a ton of
We have
stuff,
way too
read every
much.
book. So here's the crazy thing, though. We have to have you back on, Mom, because she's a binger. This woman is a
I know, and
binger.
we haven't even gotten there yet.
Oh my
So
gosh,
we've got-
she TV shows, movies, but she's watched every movie ever nominated for everything, including animation. So she's seen Encanto. No reason to. She doesn't have little ones at
because
home.
it's amazing.
I know.
We've got to be getting close to triple digits in my house.
Oh gosh.
I love it though.
Oh my gosh. Well, so one other show. I mean, obviously we have our Lifetime Christmas movies, and we've had, and Nine Dead is one of your favorite projects. Talk about that real quick, and then we'll get into Melissa and Joey.
So there was a script that came across my desk that I thought, oh, let's put Melissa in a thriller. Let's give her
and
something.
I had avoided thrillers. I had literally avoided thrillers because I was asked to be in all these horror movies, but I never thought any of them were as good as Scream. Scream was as good as it was going to get. I was never going to do anything like that. But then I was like, but it would be fun to be in that genre.
Spoken like a true 90s kid.
I know. I was like, if I didn't get Scream, then there's no point in doing these other crappy versions. So Mom finds this script, Nine Dead. She's like, you got to be in this thriller. And so she acquires it and finances it.
and produced it, and it was a very self-contained film. It takes place the final version of it takes place mainly in this one location. But
It was great for me. I just had a baby. I just had Brady, my second. And so I was breastfeeding. He's only 2 months old, I think. And I got to be in the same wardrobe. We're handcuffed to poles. There's 9 of us in like a basement room, all stuck on poles. So there's no blocking. There's no wardrobe changes. And every day we're shooting it sequentially. We're literally shooting it in order, which never happens in a movie. Sorry, I keep interrupting.
No, and it was it was a low budget movie, and it was a lot of fun to do. We shot it in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. We had some partners in it, and it was really a fun, different kind of movie for Melissa to do. My husband and I financed it, and but then the foreign sales company went bankrupt.
Oh no.
So we lost.
So it's out there.
but it's
Everybody can
there.
go find it. But what's funny is
It's just floating in Never Never Land.
It was very much, if you like Saw, you will like, and the thing is, the Saw franchise was out at the time, and they were just pumping those out.
This is
And
pretty brutal. This is so once every hour, if they didn't solve this riddle,
Like
somebody gets shot in the head.
somebody gets
Oh,
killed.
goodness gracious.
And they
It's
drag
an
you out
escape
and
room, but
kill
they
you.
all have to figure out what they have in common, why they're all in that room. And there's fights, and some people know each other, and they're trying to figure out why people know each other, but nobody's giving any secrets up and stuff. But the thing is, I had watched the Saw movies, and I said to my mom, like, when she handed me the script, I was like, but Mom, it's a lot like Saw. Have you seen Saw? She's like, oh, I don't watch those horror movies. I'm like, what are you talking about? You're about to produce one.
I don't
watch
either. I have a great appreciation for that. Like, I think people who love horror,
It's not your
Have a great time.
thing.
Have a great time with it.
Don't need to see it.
No, I just can't do it.
Amanda likes things bright and cheery and
Oh, me too.
beautiful.
Disney movies.
Yeah, well, even as a child, Disney movies were too much for me. I remember loving Disney princesses, but if you tried to get me to sit down and watch like Beauty and the Beast, I loved Belle. I was obsessed. I wanted to be Belle. I would pretend to run through my backyard, like she did when she goes to the meadow with her basket. But the second you would try and get me to watch that, I'm like, no. The Beast ruins everything.
Oh, really?
Everything gets too dark.
Funny.
Well, the movie that I was always scared to death of was 101 Dalmatians.
Yes, Cruella.
So Cruella used to come for me
Terrifying.
every night when I was a little girl. My parents took me to see 101 Dalmatians, and every night Cruella would come and knock on the front door to come and get me. And every night my dad would say, I would hide behind the chair. This is my dreams.
Mm-hmm.
And I would hide behind the chair in the living room, and my dad would say, no, she's not here. Come back tomorrow. I said, why do you have to say come back tomorrow?
Like, how about she doesn't live here anymore?
Yeah. No, instead he
You
would
got
come.
the wrong house.
But he came back. She came back every night for me.
Oh, I
For
had that
years.
experience with, I was a little tiny girl, and probably like 4 or 5, way too young to be seeing horror movies at all. But we lived with my grandparents at the time, and my sister and I slept on what was like a back porch that had been enclosed. And so there was a window from our bed like into the living room. And so I remember at night, I would kind of, when I couldn't sleep, peek up through the window and watch TV through it. And so one night they were watching It.
Oh.
And I, of course,
That's
as a little
one I
girl, had
auditioned
no
for.
idea what it was. And I'm sure I didn't watch the whole thing, but I spent the
Oh.
rest of my childhood, probably way too long to be afraid of anything, but I was terrified of air vents
Oh.
and street,
And
you know,
street drains.
the drains.
drains.
Tucker
Yes.
is
I
too, my
wouldn't go
Tucker,
near
because
them.
he's obsessed with it, but he doesn't understand it. And
I
it's
was-
horrifying.
It's horrifying. Like
I read the script, Amanda. I was
Oh.
auditioning for the movie, and my sister and I sat in the back of our station wagon. She helped me study the lines for my audition. I didn't read the whole script. I didn't read the book. I read a few scenes, and she and I were haunted for
Yes, it
to this day.
terrified
I've still
me
never seen it.
as an adult.
I
reading the
remember
script.
I would not I would open the bathroom door before I'd flush the toilet so I could run because I
Oh,
felt
yeah.
like the
That
noise
makes
would
sense.
cover my screams if he came for me through
Well,
the air
what were the animals that grew out of the toilet too? Not gremlins. There was something. There was a movie box cover. We used to go to the movies, like the Blockbuster, and the cover of the movie was like a monster, looked like a gremlin coming out of the toilet. And Trisha and I were always like, what is that? So we'd always be afraid of going to the bathroom. We'd always go to the bathroom
Right.
together in case that thing came out and bit you on the
It
butt.
was terrifying. I think that's what killed horror movies for me forever. I
Yeah.
was so young, but I just was like, nope.
I
Nope.
loved them. I loved them, especially in my 20s. Then I had kids. I didn't want to watch it anymore. I don't want to go to Halloween Horror Night. I don't want to see skeletons. I don't want any reminder of mortality. I don't want that. I don't want it. But wait, okay, so now Melissa and Joey. So fake fiance transitions into
Well, let's tell them how we got Joey. So Melissa and I are driving. We're parking in the shopping mall at Sherman Oaks, California, and we're trying to figure out who should be her co-star in My Fake Fiance. And we're driving through, and we're going through the Dancing with the Stars people.
because I had just done one with Mario, and we were
Yeah.
like, well, that was a great combination, the two of us, and he was on Dancing with the Stars. Who else are they having on Dancing with the Stars that maybe we're missing, like a great face popular person who hasn't worked in a minute?
That makes total sense. Yeah.
And Melissa said, what about Joey Lawrence? I went, I have known Joey Lawrence since he's 4 years old because he was one of those kids on the audition route.
Right.
We would see them
We would
all
see
the
them
time.
all the time. And his mom, Donna, I knew them and I knew the brothers. And I said, what about Joey? So we called him up, and sure enough, Joey and Melissa had amazing chemistry in this movie. It was a lot of fun. He's got great comic timing. And then because that movie
And he's pretty.
and the movie did really well.
I can't say that. He's like a brother. It's weird.
You're allowed to say your brother's pretty.
No. It's weird. Go on.
But he, the network, this was ABC Family, called me up and said, we really like them. We don't want to do a sequel to My Fake Fiance, but we do want to develop a show with the two of them as leads.
And then my thing was I wanted to, with Sabrina, I felt like I was always the one that was the grounded one, the what's the center of the tornado, the one holding it together, the one
Yeah.
trying to fix everything. And I was like, I don't want to be that anymore. I want to be the tornado. And
Let me screw all the things up.
yeah, I want to be the flawed character. I want to be the goofball. I want to be the Lucy. And so the writers developed it so that
Well, but what we did
Joey
was,
could be the straight man and I could kind of be the...
but I threw it out to many different writers. And we kind of auditioned the writers so they could come in and pitch us what they thought the character should be. I remember somebody pitched Joey as being a guitar player and he playing in a band, and then you meet up with him. But Bob Young and David Kendall came up with this idea of a politician, and then having to have a nanny, and we thought that kind of worked.
Yeah,
really
so my
well.
sister goes to, for those people that haven't seen it, it's actually my favorite show that I've ever been on. Like, I know people get bummed that it's not Sabrina or Clarissa, but Melissa and Joey was the most fun for me. I mourned that character when I was done playing her, when I knew I wasn't going to get another day of playing her, because it was so fun. And she was a lush, she was a slut, she was just, but she had a good heart, but she's trying to raise this niece and nephew because her sister's in prison and she's got to take care of them, but she knows nothing about having kids. She's very selfish and all she cares about is her closet and her heels and her lifestyle and her dating life. And then she's got these kids she's got to take care of, and Joey moves in and he's a pain in the ass. And it was so much fun to play that character. And that was like, even though it was really, really hard for me personally to be in that role because I was living with my family in Connecticut, but shooting in LA. And the show kept going and going, but it wasn't a consistent schedule. It was a messed up schedule. And so, as soon as it was like, okay, we're back on, we got 20 episodes, you got to get out here. It was like, wait, now but what about the kids' school and what should we do with, and what about,
She had
so
3 kids.
Constant shifting. At first I only had 2. And then when the third one came, then we had to move together.
We had to take a season off for her to have.
That is not true.
To have Tucker.
That is not true. The network came to me and said, if you want to get pregnant now. We're going to take a long break. Everyone blamed it on me. Thanks. The whole crew thought it was my fault, but it wasn't. But like 8 of the crew members had babies that summer.
That was a big popular year, yeah.
2012. And so the first 2 years I went out by myself and I left the 2 little ones at home, and it broke my heart and I was severely depressed, and it was just such an easy schedule. And then there I am by myself,
right?
Not even getting to be at dinner with them or weekends or sports or whatever. And then,
okay, but let's go back. When we did the pilot, Melissa lived in Los Angeles.
Right.
And
no.
Yes,
no,
you did.
Nope. Think again.
No, you.
Nope. Nope. Nope.
It was before.
Nope.
And I told her.
Try again.
I said.
It was the end of 2009. I had just moved.
I had said
to
her,
the pilot.
Don't move because this series is going to go.
And I went back to our childhood rule of don't change your life plans for a possibility. We hadn't even shot the pilot yet. You were like, we are going to shoot a pilot probably by the end of the year. And I put my house on the market a year before that. And it finally sold in like June or July, and I moved in August, and I came right back to do Dancing with the Stars, and we tagged the pilot onto the end of Dancing with the Stars. So 2009, I was in season 8 or something of Dancing with the Stars, and then I stayed an extra week to do the pilot. And then it was another 6 months till the show even went.
Till the show got picked up, yeah.
So then I had to come out for months and months at a time. And I started flying home every weekend so I could be there for soccer games and stuff. But that was exhausting because I'm taking red eyes. Basically, I'm not sleeping on Friday night and I'm coming back. But then we ended up making it a 4-day work week so I could actually go home for a 3-day weekend. And then when I had Tucker in 2012, I was able to bring the whole family out with me, which wasn't easy on them. They're doing half the school year in LA, half the school year in Connecticut. But it was public school, elementary school.
Elementary
they were okay.
school.
Yeah, they jumped around a little bit, but they were okay. And it gave them a chance to learn a lot of different, kind of see a lot of different ways. Like California has a big emphasis on the English language. And when we went to school out there, they were like, oh, they don't really know nouns and verbs and stuff. But then back home, it was like a major focus on STEM. But in California, they learned cursive. They weren't learning that in California,
Right.
in Connecticut anymore. So it was like this interesting thing going on. So I hope that I did them well, but at the same time, I feel like dragging them around like that might have damaged
They're
me.
amazing. You've done a great job.
Thanks. But yeah, so that's like, and then we've done our Christmas movies and we got a bunch of stuff in the works. We've got animated projects and we have our company Hartbreak Films. I try to
We
keep
didn't even
up on
talk about you being the voice of Hilda and Zelda in the animated series.
Oh yeah, I was the voice of Hilda and Zelda.
Both of them?
But it's funny, I'm just this voice. This is my voice.
For both of them?
Well, they were teenagers because they were teenagers, but Sabrina is a little girl and that's my sister Emily, who was cousin Amanda on Sabrina. In the animated series, she plays Sabrina.
So what happened, ABC, the show was very, very big on ABC. And they came to me and said, well, we'd like to do an Saturday morning animated show.
Great.
And they wanted to do it side by side with the live action Sabrina. I said, well, I don't want to do it the same. There's just so many stories you can tell. I want to do something different. So I said, let's age her down. And we made Sabrina younger.
Prequel.
Yes. And so that's when we developed it that way. And it was working with Jerry Laybourne,
who was the president of Nickelodeon, and
when she was doing Clarissa. And then she moved to ABC. And so that's when
she wrote my recommendation for college.
That's a nice recommendation letter to get.
She's awesome.
So I have a question. So you created this empire with Sabrina, and it's just kept going, and you guys have so much in the works. But did you have anything to do with the new Sabrina?
No.
How did you feel about that?
You know what? We kind of gave up the rights. There was an opportunity for us to continue with it, but the Archie comic book, the people that I dealt with all passed away, and it was passed down to the younger generation.
Well, and they built that whole new set of Archie comics, the actual comic books.
Right.
So the Chilling Adventures is actually a comic book that's totally different, and it has more of a witchcraft because our Sabrina was funny,
fun,
family,
lighthearted,
sitcom, and it was magic, not witchcraft. And this new one was more like Buffy the Vampire Slayer, something that we tried to avoid actually because our company, Hartbreak Films, we always said was more about stuff that families could watch together, stuff you can sit down with your kids and watch and it's not geared towards one or the other. It's kind of for both. Mm-hmm. So Salem brings the comedy, and Sabrina, right? That goes over kids' heads but hits the adults in the right way. And yet, kids and teenagers can watch it and feel safe. So and enjoy it as well. And so we always wanted our company, Hartbreak Films, to sort of be along those lines. Except the one time we deviated was 9 Dead.
It was 9 Dead.
Don't watch that with your kids.
We almost started a new company just
to have it.
It really doesn't fit with our brand.
Or so, yeah.
That's great. So what's next in the empire?
We've got a few things in the works. I mean, right now we're still focusing on our holiday movies, and now we're looking at some true crime movies
and some independent features for Melissa to direct. Yeah,
my directing career has been really, really taken off. So I have to call my mom every once in a while and go, let's do a movie that I can act in so I can get my insurance, please.
So we always try to accommodate that.
Yeah.
But it's great because it keeps us, my mom travels a lot. So not only is Women Binge, every book you've ever heard of, she's read, and every movie you've ever heard of, she's watched, and every TV show, she's watched the entire series.
Or like Outlander 3 times.
Oh my gosh, everything.
3 times?
And she's watched Game of Thrones 6 times, and then everything current. And then every movie that you've never even heard of.
So not only are you you're self-made, you just worked your way into all of this, but now you're like an expert on it.
Well, since she's an empty nester finally, she's not only that, she travels the world. She just had to hand in her passport because there were too many stamps in it.
I didn't have any pages
Not
left.
because it was expired, because there were too many pages.
Life the right way, in my opinion. This is
And
what I
she's
want
van
empty
lifing
nesting to look like for me.
Oh yeah, no, and she's van lifing it, so like they're in the van and they drive all around the country and
my
visit all the
husband right now
grandkids.
is on a 3-month ski trip.
So she's coming around the country seeing her grandkids. So
3
she's here
months.
seeing ours, and
Just
then she's going to
touring
New York.
And skiing, yes. So
And
he's
she's
already
going
in the
from
third
here
stop.
to New York to Pennsylvania to Paris, back to New York, down to St. Croix, and then back to San Diego to see Emily. Like,
Okay, you go do your movies. I'm going to hang out with your mom.
No, I want to hang out with my mom. I want to be her when I grow up.
This is amazing. Yeah, I want to be you when I grow up. This is incredible. And you guys make such a great team. Your chemistry together obviously works. Do you have this kind of dynamic with all of your children?
I don't think so.
You have a really strong relationship with every single one of your children.
Yes, they're all very different relationships.
I mean, she was on the phone all morning with the 2 in Paris. Like,
well, now one's in Mexico City.
one's in Mexico City, but they call her every one of us like calls you every day. I'm
Yeah.
probably the only one that doesn't call as much.
No, and it's funny, when we do call, we talk mostly business, which after I hang up, I say,
But not really. I mean, it puts us on the phone together. We always kind of touch on what's going on.
but it's always like, well, remember that project or...
Well, I think
Right.
it's also because
Call
the
that.
other ones call you with problems, and I don't call you with problems. Like, it's funny. I have gone to therapy here and there
Mm-hmm.
over the years. Haven't really been consistent with it. But the first time I ever tried therapy, of course, it was all your mom, and I'm like, anytime I sit down with a therapist, I'm like, let's not talk about my mom because I don't have an issue there. Like,
She's amazing.
yeah, I mean, we
Moving on.
work out our issues, and our family very much wears their heart on their sleeve. The hearts, get it? But we do that whole yell, scream, fight, throw a chair, and then we're over it, and we don't hold grudges. We don't bring
grudges.
things up again, and not in an unhealthy, like, not that we don't bring things up in an
You just
unhealthy
get it
way.
out
Just
when
get it
it's
out.
the time.
Yeah, we
And
don't
it's
cover
over.
it up.
Yeah, we just kind of like we definitely like yell it out, scream it out, get it out, and especially working together.
You learned really fast, I'm
Well,
assuming.
people always go, "How's it to work with your mom?" And I'm always like, "Well, who do you trust more than your mom to take care of you in your career?" You know,
Mhm.
I know that there's a lot of parents out there that take advantage or living vicariously through. That's not this situation. You know?
No, I would
You're like,
never
no,
want
I don't want your job.
This is the most she's ever talked.
And I am not
Microphone.
good on camera.
I
very
disagree
uncomfortable.
wholly. I think you look amazing on camera, and you have so much to say that I think everybody's going to love to hear.
She's starting to like go to Comic-Cons here and there and like talk about it a little bit, but like
I
it's
much
not
prefer
her
to
thing.
be behind the scenes.
And what's funny is even in production, like I prefer to be on set during production. She wants to do post, and I hate post.
But there
So it's
you
like
go.
she wants to be in the
It works
editing
out.
bay
It
watching
is
it,
the
putting
dream
it together.
team.
Well, and I
Yeah.
said for me, during Sabrina, this whole thing, this Take Your Daughter to Work Day started. And I said, I am blessed because I get to take my daughter to work every day.
That's
And I get to
right.
take my mommy to work every day.
That's so cool.
Yeah, no, it's really wonderful.
I just love y'all. I love this.
One of the most important things I've learned as I age is that I don't want to look like I'm aging. So you know how I do that, right? Don't we all? I have been protecting my skin with Apostrophe.
I have to say, my skin is glowing thanks to my Apostrophe prescription.
Yeah, Apostrophe is a prescription skincare company. It offers science-backed oral and topical medications that are clinically proven to help clear up acne and to help with your unique skin. So whether it's age spots or it's wrinkles or whatever your challenge is, Apostrophe can help.
And it's personalized treatment plans by a board-certified dermatologist, and it is perfectly tailored to you and your unique skin. And all you have to do is fill out Apostrophe's online quiz about your skin, tell them what your goals are, your medical history. You take a few selfies. I recommend doing that before you log on because the quiz is so fast. And then a dermatologist will create a custom treatment plan, and they will email it directly to you.
I love their packaging. Like their packaging is really cute. So mine is to put on at night. So I have a little PM sticker that I stuck on the top of it.
Oh, I love how you get to decorate your bottle and make it uniquely yours. And the company checks in on you too.
Yeah, they want to make sure everything's
you're-
going well.
Yeah, that everything's working well for you.
So we have a deal for our audience. You can save $15 off your first visit with an Apostrophe provider at apostrophe.com/WWB when you use our code WWB. And this code is only available to our listeners.
And to get started, just go to apostrophe.com/WWB and click begin visit. Then use our code WWB at sign up and you'll get your first visit for only $5.
That's APOSTROPHE.com/WWB and use that code WWB to get your dermatologist crafted treatment plan for $5. And we want to thank Apostrophe for being a wonderful sponsor of What Women Binge. Should we ask her our questions?
Yes, let's ask you some questions and then
We've gone way over our time, peeps. Thanks for
Yeah.
sticking with us.
we're going to have you come back again because we never
Oh.
even got to touch on what you're binging.
Talk about all the things she's into. All right, Mom, what show is in your continue to watch on your Netflix queue that you just haven't gotten through? That you kind of like, I should probably finish that, but I haven't.
Can we not make Netflix? Can we say
Yeah, whatever.
Oh,
HBO?
anything you want.
Okay, so it's the new Sex in the City.
Oh, you never
and
got
just
through
like
it?
that. Yeah, I'm having a very hard time
It's
getting
so
through
hard.
Did you watch the first one?
it. Sex in the City, yeah.
All of it?
I enjoyed it, yeah.
I never really
Oh,
watched
I
it
didn't
was-
I didn't watch it while it was airing when it was
Originally.
new. I watched it and binged it instead.
Mhm.
Okay.
I now am such a binge watcher.
Well, you're on
I
the
don't
perfect
like
show.
to wait. I don't like to wait. I want to see it right away.
Well, you have a lot to get to. You have to go ski in Germany and hit the beaches of Mexico.
Oh well, I think it's Mallorca in a couple of weeks.
Oh,
Yeah.
jeez Louise. What's a book that's been on your nightstand too long?
I have to say this is the Debbie Harry book.
Oh yeah, you're struggling with that one.
I am.
I am too. I really wanted to
And
like
y'all
it.
really like her. So it's
Really like her. She was on
disappointing, huh?
Sabrina,
Oh,
and
I'm a
we're
huge fan.
so I'm listening to the audiobook and she's reading the book, and it's just slow. It's just not what I want. I wanted more excitement. I mean, it's a long one though, so maybe towards
maybe
the
it's
end.
redeeming at the end.
Yeah, I might need
She's
to
such a
push
cool
through.
person. You'd think that
And I want to have
It
her
needs
on
to pick
here,
up.
but
It needs to pick up speed.
she gives a lot of detail. So if you really want to know about Debbie Harry, you can. But I don't know. I suggest the Penny Marshall one if you haven't done that one.
Okay.
That's a good one. What's your go-to podcast? Do you listen to podcasts?
I don't.
well now
Listen to
she's
ours.
Yours. This is my first. I'm
Just
a newbie.
only listen to ours because listening really helps us get up in the ratings. What's a show you watch only to have something to talk about with other people? Or maybe that's how it started out.
Oh, this whole like water cooler type.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Nowadays, there isn't anything because I don't want to waste my time. I watch only what I want to watch.
What about your husband? What about Leslie? Like, is there something you have to watch for him?
Yeah, Billions.
Oh,
Billions.
not into it, but he loves it.
Yeah, I like the old season. This new season, I'm not a big fan of.
Here's a little thing I didn't mention about my mom. She's also a big party queen. The only person
Oh,
that I know on
really?
New Year's that got so wrecked that she puked
I did. I threw up
on New Year's.
New Year's.
Also has traveled the world for DJs and goes to different raves.
I am hanging out with your mom. I'm sorry.
Partied in Ibiza.
I went to a rave in Versailles.
You went to a rave in Versailles.
She's crazy.
I'm going to ask this question.
She hangs out more with my 25-year-old sister than with her 45-year-old daughter.
There are
But we used to do that when you were 25.
I know. We used to go raving.
I heard a story about the
I outgrew
Limelight.
it. Somebody else didn't outgrow it.
I heard a story about the Limelight.
Ah, yes. Limelight was my place. That was my Friday night spot.
That was her jam.
I met my husband at a nightclub.
Yeah.
Really?
Yes,
gay
I
club.
did. And I picked him up at the nightclub.
A gay club.
Yes. But he was a hairdresser, so he was with his gay friends.
Yeah,
and I was
he
with
knew
my
that was
gay
where the
friend.
unsuspecting women were. He always says
That's what he tells us.
Ah, so he was on the prowl. He knew what he was doing.
he knew what he was doing
yes.
because he knew there was no other threat around.
Okay.
What's a show? Oh, we already talked about that. What's your all-time favorite music? No, movie. I can't read.
Where are your glasses?
Where are my glasses? I'm getting old.
Put them on, honey.
All-time favorite movie, Mommy?
Gee, that's a tough one. I know at
Come on,
Christmas
you gotta
time
pick
it's
one.
White Christmas.
Yes,
We
you
know
love
that.
one.
I have to watch White Christmas.
Do we need to do it by season? Springtime favorite movie?
No, you see, it can't quite do that.
I don't even know. With you, it's like weird.
I have a lot of favorite movies.
Okay, name 3.
All right, Princess Bride.
Oh, that's mine. You stole. Not fair. Go on.
I didn't steal it.
Like our entire family loves that movie. It's so funny. That's like our family movie.
With 6 you get egg roll.
Oh,
Do you know that movie?
yeah. You always liked Cheaper by the Dozen too.
Yeah, cheaper. They just remade that.
Again?
Yes.
Wait, no, they remade it a few years ago.
No, but there's something. I heard something yesterday about
Jeez
Cheaper
Louise.
by the Dozen.
Oh,
I
Zach
need to-
Braff is... we love Zach Braff.
Oh, Zach Braff's doing it. Yeah, that's right. And Steve Martin did. So there's been 3.
Steve Martin did it in
Versions.
the early 2000s, I think.
Yeah, I
Yes.
think so. That's crazy. So wait, name another one.
Birds.
Oh, as a
It's
favorite?
so funny you say that because there have been birds surrounding my house recently. I walked outside the other day, and actually our friend Brooke, my neighbor, was like, "Hey, what's going on with that tree that you're videotaping?" Because I was videotaping the tree because it was so loud. I think I posted it. So loud. The birds were so loud. I thought I was in the movie.
Oh.
They were like overwhelmingly. I stepped outside. I thought there was an engine roaring somewhere, and it was the birds.
Oh,
So watch out,
crazy.
Mom.
Well, that's
Staying at my house.
And I don't like horror movies. I hate horror
you
movies.
love the birds.
But
But
the
Hitchcock's
birds.
a different style.
It is a different...
Yeah, and there was just something about it that
I can watch a Hitchcock film and it doesn't affect me like other
'Cause it's
horror films
twisted.
do.
It's more psychological.
Yeah, I don't want to watch. I go the
Oh, I'm
Sorry
not the
about
only
that.
one today.
movies. I hate
The
those.
blood and guts movies.
Yes.
I don't like that either.
Lawn
Well, I don't know
mowers
where
and-
your grandson Tucker came from then, because
No, I don't know where
he
he got
loves
that.
that stuff, man. Beauty product you can't live without.
My La Mer face cream.
Oh, really? Still working the La Mer. I like that one.
Yes.
What show did you expect to like but ended up disliking?
And just like that.
And just like that, okay.
Because I thought it was going to be, because, coming off of Emily in Paris,
You like that one? You didn't like that one?
I didn't like it initially.
Oh, you liked it now.
I only made it like
I
two
never watched it
episodes
because
in.
of you. You always hated it. Oh, you only made. See, she did.
I
the
only
same.
made it like
Yeah,
two episodes.
I found it a very, just like stereotyping
Yes.
and all the French people. And this girl was an idiot. And like, why is she being sent anywhere? But it really grew on me. And the locations.
It's beautifully done.
beautiful.
The clothes are gorgeous.
So if you
Patricia
could,
Fields did the first season. She doesn't do the second season.
oh, Patricia Fields.
Who's
Oh my
that?
gosh, she owned a store on
She did
8th
Sex in the
Street.
City.
Oh.
But she owned a store in New York City on 8th Street, and that's where you'd go to get your go-go boots.
Every Saturday night, just before I would go out dancing.
You'd go buy a
She'd
new
go
outfit.
there and buy an
a
outfit.
new wig or a new, yeah.
She
Oh
was
my
like, well, she
gosh.
dressed a lot of drag queens, right? Wasn't
Yeah,
it a
she
big
did a lot
drag
of
queen
drag.
store too?
Yeah.
So
Yeah, it
not
was-
only would I like hanging out with your mom, I have a feeling I'd enjoy your mom's closet.
Oh, for sure. For sure.
My
With her
kids
color
didn't
blocking
enjoy it,
here,
but-
or whatever we want to call this tone-on-tone outfit that you're wearing. Your minty.
Monochrome. Say it with me.
Monochrome. Tone-on-tone. So I said tone-on-tone again?
Yes.
Okay.
Where does this come from?
I don't know. It's a tone. She's wearing a tone. If you could take one food to a deserted island, what would it be? Wait, let me guess. Baklava.
Oh.
That's actually a family joke.
That's a very.
She doesn't even like baklava. I thought for years she liked baklava.
Well, did you hear that Alex gave me baklava for Christmas?
Yes, you told me.
My
that.
son-in-law. So there's a story. So Melissa, every year she would give me baklava for as a Christmas
Or like
present.
if we were having Christmas at our house, I'd be like, I got baklava. And she'd be like, great. And I was like, yeah. And then just like 2 years ago,
she
didn't
finally said to me, don't you love your baklava? I said, I like baklava. She said, but isn't it your favorite dessert? I said, No, Pavlova's my favorite dessert.
Pavlova. I was confused for many,
Wrong.
many years.
But for years, she gave me baklava.
Or I always had him like, I got baklava.
And I had
know
no
you're coming to
idea
visit.
what the connection was.
I thought it was, Pavlova. There's a lot of V's. I don't know.
Wrong cuisine.
I don't know what to tell you. There's a lot of K's and V's or something like that. Pavlova, baklava. I don't know. What is one book you have on your bucket list that you haven't gotten to?
The Outlander books.
Oh.
The series.
You've seen the series so many times.
You
read the Game of Thrones books?
I did, but I have not read the Outlander books, and I'm a huge fan of the series.
Did you read all of the Harry Potters?
No, I stopped. I read the first 4.
Oh, interesting. Movie you feel like you should have watched, but you haven't. You've seen like everything.
I don't know if that's out there.
Have you ever seen a John Wayne movie?
I've seen lots of John Wayne movies.
Elvis?
Yeah, I was never a big Elvis fan.
Katharine Hepburn?
Yeah, I told you, African Queen. I don't understand why you haven't seen that.
I've never seen a Katharine Hepburn movie. It's like a crime.
We did watch a Catherine.
Should be
Hepburn
drawn
movie
and quartered.
together.
That's the first time on Golden Pond. True,
Yeah.
but that's recent.
But that's she was old then.
Right.
Well, but that does. I mean, it's still her.
No, I know, but I'm saying it wasn't.
it
Her
It wasn't in
younger
her
years.
It wasn't in her heyday.
But that was my first time ever seeing a Katharine Hepburn movie. Isn't that crazy?
Yeah.
Workout or class you're obsessed with? Mom, you took your first Orange Theory
I
class
took my
this morning.
first Orange Theory class.
I dragged her butt.
Yes, I will see
You're gonna
how
be so sore when you
But I
stand
am
up.
obsessed with Pilates.
Oh. I can't get her to do Pilates with me.
I
tried.
love
I will.
Pilates.
It's just expensive for the little bit of stretching that I'm going to get.
I just got myself a Pilates. I didn't get myself. I got it for Christmas.
The machine.
Yes, I have a reformer at home, and I use it every day religiously.
See, Melissa?
I know.
We could be long and
I
lean
do
in no
like
time.
Pilates.
Yes,
I do
and
it
it does. It
sometimes.
changes your body like that.
I don't think
Listen
it
to
works
your
for
mother.
me.
Huge.
Have you
huge
tried
change.
I sweat. I like to sweat a lot.
But I've been doing Pilates since the 90s.
Mom, what's your most juicy guilty pleasure?
I don't think I can say that right now.
Oh, gross. Your husband doesn't count. This is disgusting. Yeah, don't share a wall with this woman. So, Mom,
We try to be careful when there's common walls.
it's in our family. It's called oh my gosh, Naked City. What do we call
we
it?
play Naked City. Yes.
That's how we were told as kids. Like, don't come in. We're playing Naked City. Okay.
Why are you telling all my secrets?
Oh, I love it. Naked City.
My husband's very hot. All right.
Okay.
Hey, you know?
Okay. I'll be all right.
Hey, let's just say, if we're empty nesters and our husbands are still hot and this is what our life is, I am for it.
Hey, I am too. I just don't need to hear about my mom doing it.
Well,
Okay? Amanda, you can call me and tell me all about yours, but I don't want to hear my mom.
Well, you've got a bunch of siblings, so I think you understand.
I do understand that they've done it 7 times.
Melissa said to me at one
Only
point.
7 times.
At one point,
That's it.
she when she was first learning about sex, she she
Can't wait
said
for
to me,
this.
"Ew, Mom, you did it 5 times."
Brady said the same thing to me when he figured out how to do it. He goes, "You did it 3 times?" Because I told him, he goes, "Here's the deal. I'll do it 1 time just to have a baby, but that's it. I'm only giving you 1 grandkid." And I was like, "Okay." And he goes, "But you did it 3 times?" And I said, because I said to him, "You might find out that," I said, "some people like it, so you might end up liking it when you get older." And he goes, "Are you one of the people that likes it?"
Oh,
Lordy.
parenting is
Go
fun.
talk to your grandma.
Go talk to your. Got your work cut out for you now.
Jeez.
I need to see your phone. We need to see how many
Oh,
unread
goodness.
emails you have on your phone.
I'm.
This is how we get to really know people. I don't know about. I think she's
is
up
that
to
why
date.
you-
I bet she has a very low number. I'm gonna guess. I'm gonna
don't
guess it's
know.
in the 20s.
And these
10.
and these are only
She has
since
10. Show her your page.
And this is only because I've been sitting in here.
I went to
This is
dinner.
why she thinks there's something wrong with me.
Oh wait, it just reloaded.
I went to dinner the other night with somebody who had more than Amanda, and it was
13.
insane.
13.
I know someone who has over 300 voicemails on her phone, and it's
I
making
can't do that.
I don't know how many
Crazy.
voicemails
I can't
have.
keep any red.
Here's the problem.
I don't even keep any red things on my.
I have
I need dots.
118 unlistened voicemails.
118. I feel like mine shuts down after I have 10.
Yeah, I know.
Look, but this is what drives me crazy about my mom. I'm not going to show everyone your page here, but she has every single app. There's no folders.
There's no system for it.
There's
I
no
know, and
folders. She was trying to find the Orange Theory app today to sign up for a class, and she's doing
You
this.
just flip
Swipe,
down and use the
swipe,
find bar.
swipe. I know. She didn't know that.
I didn't know
She's also
about that either.
swiping, looking for orange. I'm like, dude, put it in a folder called workouts. Like,
I know. You know,
I'm
I'll
gonna
tell you what
arrange
the
this
problem
today.
is. You know what my problem is? I don't know how to move it from one screen to the next one.
Okay, that's fair.
Push it down and you slide it. You keep it.
But it doesn't go over to the
I'll
other
show
side.
you how it
Oh,
does.
thank you.
Just have to hold on a
Well,
second.
Melissa has been on me now for an entire season about my emails because I reached a very high number.
Like
of unread emails.
Like you'll never guess how high her number
Like
was.
1,000?
92 more than that.
92,000
Times that.
What?
92,000.
Okay, but one of our friends the other night beat me.
Yes.
And it's the first time somebody has actually beat me.
And her phone
Are
is
you
making
not
me crazy.
interested in?
So, no, my system is I read the important ones. Like, I check it constantly. But the junk mail, the
She's in charge of like our whole
promotional stuff,
PTO. Like she has to arrange the school dances and stuff.
And I do
so she's
just
on it. Oh,
fine.
she's super organized in that way.
But, so I would just let the other ones go. And I wouldn't read them, but I also didn't delete them.
If you don't clear them, I have to clear them out.
But Melissa has been on me now. She's like sending me texts on a
Yeah.
random Sunday. I'm on W's today.
Yeah.
What are you working on?
Let's just do LMN. Can we just do those 3 today? Thank you.
So I've slowly whittled it down. I think currently, because I haven't been on top of it this weekend, I'm at 626.
Okay, we
Oh,
need to work
wow.
on that a little bit though.
But that's a
don't
big
get-
difference.
It's a
You've
big.
done a good job.
She got mad because I just did a mark all red
Yeah.
to get rid of
She's like,
them.
look what I did. I'm like, no, that doesn't count.
But they
You have to
probably-
actually delete the emails and unsubscribe and do all the
don't wanna
business that you
delete
got to
them.
do to get. You got to get rid of that stuff.
Why?
Why? It
It's
makes
all
you feel
going to the
important.
cloud and it's filling. Trust me,
Don't
I
you
just
feel
had
important
storage
when you have
issues.
lots of emails?
I mean, sort of.
No, but I just had all this. I mean, look, you want to keep the important ones for sure to back it up to look at later. And I reference stuff all the time.
I referenced an email from 2015 the other day because it was still on my phone.
Yeah, and that's fine. But you don't need the ones from like Pottery Barn or, like you got to get rid of.
Okay,
Oh,
fine.
you keep all those?
You don't need ones from the kids'
No.
preschool that you don't talk to anymore or, you know what I
Okay,
mean? Like that
okay.
kind of thing. All right,
See-
we have to do a quick this or that.
Okay.
Okay, ready? Wine or beer?
Oh, wine. Never beer.
Housewives or Kardashians?
Neither.
Ooh,
She's not a reality show
Yeah.
watcher.
sad. Pizza or tacos?
Oh, pizza.
Soft or firm mattress?
Firm.
Beach or mountains?
Beach.
Coffee at home or Starbucks?
Never.
You don't
No
drink
coffee.
any coffee.
Tea drinker. Same with me.
Wow. Sweet or salty?
Depends on the time of day.
Oh,
She likes butter. Let's go salty.
I do love salty in the afternoon. That's my afternoon.
Country or rock?
Rock.
Dog or cat?
Dog.
Art or sport?
Art. Very definite.
I feel that on all those levels.
Well, thanks for being here, Mommy.
Well, thank you
Will you
for
come
having
back and
me.
tell us all the things you binge because you're a wealth of knowledge?
Am I?
You are. I feel like we've only scratched the surface.
Oh my gosh.
I'm happy to hear like the origin story. I feel like that connects me to both of you so much more and helps me understand
She
your
fills in the
personalities.
gaps, right? It's like my
Yes.
stories and then her stories, and it's just sort of like,
Well, because you remember things differently.
yeah.
And
we
there's
do.
always two sides to every story.
That's true. Well, 3. Yours, mine, and the truth.
Dun, dun, dun.
And on that note, thanks for being here, Mommy.
Well, thank you. Thanks for having me.
Thank you for coming. This is
This was
great.
fun.
Thank you. Come back.
Okay. Thanks.
Thank you guys for joining us for What Women Binge. You can connect with all of us on your favorite social media platforms. We have at What Women Binge, Amanda.
I'm at Amanda WWB.
I'm at Melissa Joan Hart. And if you haven't already, you can subscribe anywhere you get podcasts. You can find all of our links at whatwomenbinge.com and subscribe on YouTube. Our wonderful theme song was written and produced by my cute husband, Mark Wilkerson. What Women Binge is produced by Laugh-O-Gram Studios, video production by Matt Giesler, and audio by Matt Lott, and production assistant Jennifer Best. What Women Binge is distributed by Podcast Heat. For more information, visit podcastheat.com.